Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Doug Cunnington here, and I have a special guest today, my good friend Matt Giovanisci. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome. We are doing some working and some day drinking. So cheers.
Cheers.
My friend.
Yeah, day drinking.
It's
a Wednesday.
yeah. And it's
Wet Wednesday?
It's pretty good. Yeah, and let us know in the chat if you can hear. I think you can. I see we have some friends in the crowd here. I see Masher. We got our other friend, WP Eagle, Alex.
Oh, sweet. What's up, Alex?
Into the backcountry, we have Grant. Good to see you. Walt and Nathan as well.
Nathan.
All right, and Nathan, for some reason, it didn't like your chat there, but we're back in. So today we're gonna have a casual day. We're gonna drink beer. We're gonna talk about it a lot, and we're also gonna talk about marketing and affiliate marketing and that sort of thing. So, for the people that don't know you, Matt, can you give a little intro?
Yeah, I run a site called Pornhub. No, that's probably going to get you banned. I'm sorry.
We don't run ads here. So
okay, that's fair. I have a site called Swim University. That's my main flagship site. Teach people how to take care of their pools and hot tubs. I've been doing that for 15 years, roughly, I think. 2006. Wow. Do the math. I don't know. Okay. And then I have a site called moneylab.co where I basically give a behind-the-scenes tour of Swim University. And then I have another site called Brew Cabin. And then I have, they're my three sites. They're my three sites. I've done other things in the past. I've done like software products. I've done other brands, but for the most part, I've kind of scaled back, lifestyle business, and now I have three.
All right.
And then there were three.
Yeah, I think the first time we met in person, well, we were having a beer at that time as well, ironically. But when we first had a conversation about business and stuff, you had, I think, 4 or 5 people on your team. Is that about right?
Yes.
And that ends up being a full-time job, just managing several people, right?
It can be, yes. I tended not to be such a micromanager. Because my boss that I sort of grew up in the industry working for, he was a micromanager. Yeah. And it was a flaw. And I knew it. And it was just okay, I want to avoid that at all costs. And so I gave everyone who worked with me, carte blanche to kind of run their own game sort of thing. Because I didn't want I'm a terrible manager. And I just was hey, here's what we need to do. Let's just do that. And then let them figure it out for themselves, and then come to the table with ideas and what they wanted to do, and it worked out. I mean, everybody kind of that it makes for a good culture and a good company. So
yeah, and
that's not why everyone's not with me anymore. But everyone kind of moved on to do their own thing, and I just kind of sat back and was man, what for the longest time I kept thinking to myself outsourcing is a good thing because it's one less thing that I have to do, and we can keep growing. But every time you outsource, you're also you're paying money to outsource it, and then it becomes a job with in and of itself. Even though I wasn't really all the time keeping an eye on everybody, there's still tasks that are being done and questions that need to be asked, and it is there is a managerial sort of aspect to it. And then once people started leaving, I started to think, I'm not really doing all that much as I could be doing a lot, but I'm I kind of like, the jobs that I was outsourcing personally. And so I'm why don't I just do that for a living? That's a good job, writing content and making a video and doing this. How is this not a bad job? This is a great job. So it's and so scaling back and then sort of reprioritizing what is really moving the needle and what is really important. And can I, as a single person, do all of those things and not burn out? And yes, if you scale back, you just decide, hey, I'm not going to do Pinterest anymore. Right. So.
Got it. So we are drinking a homebrew Saison. This is a beer I brewed a couple weeks ago. It is 4%. So I've sort of decided I was going to focus on lower alcohol beers after one too many high alcohol beers, which we also have in a cooler right here. So we'll see where the afternoon leads.
The face is going to get red.
Yeah.
And I have to drive home, but it's like 2 blocks. So
yeah, it's very close. It's shockingly close. It's cool to have a neighbor you can hang out with.
I know. I could just honestly, even if Ubering home would cost less than $5.
It's amazing. Yeah. So 4% table saison, and what happened upstairs at the kegerator zone is a saison takeover. I didn't intentionally plan it, but I love saisons, and they're a great summer beer. You may see these as like farmhouse beers, that sort of thing, but these are sort of traditional saisons. So this one, table strength. I have one from Great Divide called Colette. That is a commercial beer out of Denver, 6.5%. And then we have Tropic King from Funkworks, which is
Imperial,
awesome.
Right?
Oh yeah, 8%, and they all are distinctly different, but they have sort of the same kind of Belgian character. Very pleasant for the day drinking, I would say. And we encourage. I see
and
some
summer
other
too. I mean, it's a summer beer for sure.
Yeah, and I see some folks in the chat as well mentioning that they're going to go grab a beer. So we encourage you. Cheers to everyone out there.
What time is it? Like for us, it's 1. Now that's not bad. I'm not shaming.
Right,
You
but
can drink whenever you want to. You can also drink water.
yeah, which we have had at some point earlier today.
I might dabble.
Yeah,
I might partake.
but
This is water.
yeah, it's mostly water. It's mostly water. It's like 90 some odd % water. And shout out to all the moderators in the chat. Those are the folks in blue. We appreciate you keeping order out there. And some people already noticed. I think Jason noticed. We do have a pitcher, some backup just in case we get a little thirsty. So we're gonna answer questions if you have them out there. But one thing is I just want to catch up with Matt. So we hung out this past weekend. You were brewing beer, invited me over, and great brewery that you have, really cool space. But we usually just talk about beer, and it's we have a lot of overlap with our interest.
True. Yeah.
So
and business. It's like all the things.
It's amazing.
Stop being me.
I know. It's it's actually very remarkable. So we don't catch up on business very often. We're usually talking about beer or brewing or really getting into the details, which is cool because then it can get boring to talk about the same shit.
We didn't talk about business at all on Saturday. We did all beer.
Yeah, not a bit. And we were going deep into the weeds of like water chemistry and mash efficiency. And by the way, did you trace down your mash efficiency issue?
I think it's my calculations in the software. So I decided to switch to 100. So in my life and in cooking, I live in the United States, so I'm on the imperial system. Is that what it is, right?
Yeah,
I
think so.
The imperial measurement system.
I think so.
Gallons, ounces, whatever. I'm trying to convert the brewery to metric. So mainly because I'm so into water chemistry, and really the only thing you can do for water chemistry is grams, right? It's like you're measuring all your brewing salts in grams to be the most accurate. And I was like, all right, I'll start there. And then it was like, all right, well, eventually I'm going to move my hops measurements from ounces to grams. So I did that. And then I moved my grain measurements from pounds to kilograms. And then I'm still on the imperial system for, the liquid side of things. So I'm still thinking of everything in gallons. And so now I'm going to switch to liters. And I think that will help my calculations be more accurate in the system. And I'm also, I bought a bunch of crap on Amazon yesterday, because I'm thinking about switching back. So when I mash with a bag because it's easier to clean, I was saying.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to ditch the bag and just go direct. And so I bought a bunch of plastic scoops to be able to scoop out the grain. And I had to figure out a cleaning system because my equipment's pretty heavy. So I can't just lift it and dump it out in the grass. I have to figure out a way to get stuff out without.
You need a cart.
Yeah, I do have one, but I think I'm figuring that out. But I think that's the issue only because the percentages of the mash efficiency were accurate across brews. So I'm like, okay, then I feel like I'm getting good efficiency. I just have the measurement incorrect. So that's my plan. I actually thought about it all last night. Started writing an email today about it, and then was like, let me do it first before I like send out an email like, here's what I'm doing, and here's, you know, what if it doesn't work? Well, now I look like an idiot. So.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, in switching,
it's a whole nother life. You know, it's like a whole nother like.
You can
like,
get
there's like business, and you have to know all the ins and out of that. It's like, I think about my my dad watches Money Lab live. Oh yeah, my dad watches Money Lab live, and he's like doing it for support. You know, it's like I'm supporting my son. He doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, you know, it's like he doesn't know what OTOs and like funnels and SEO and all that stuff. And it's like, all right, that's a whole world where it gets very technical and it gets very nerdy. And then it's like, I have another world where you come over and it's like, dude, what the hell? Like, where do you find the time? And it's like, we were talking about it yesterday about hobbies. And it's like, what is a hobby? You know, like you have like a hobby, I think, is something where you want it's a second job that you don't get paid for. I think that's what a hobby is, right? Because it's like, you know, I also go snowboarding. Is snowboarding a hobby? I'm like, no, I think that's an activity.
Yeah.
Right? Building snowboards is a hobby if I'm not getting paid for it.
Okay, so it's like pastime versus like.
I think it's like it's sort of like what do I want to say? Like you will consume media about it and want to do that.
Okay.
You know, not have to do it, right? So it's like I will read a book about beer brewing, but I am not a professional brewer. And it's a very technical book, and it's like it's very whatever. So I feel like that's it. And that obviously the hobbies lead to good businesses, I think.
Yeah.
Because it is like a second job, and it's like, well, how can you, and you're so passionate about it, so why can't you teach that to others?
Yeah. And other people are passionate about it too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's kind of a.
Unless you have like a weird hobby.
Yeah. Like what? Do you have some examples of your weird hobbies? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Like,
I think that could get weird fast.
Like building glass ottomans.
Oh, okay.
That's a weird hobby.
That would be weird. Yeah. That seems dangerous. Georgie would just slam into him.
A lot of people would be. You had a lot of blood on your hands as a hobbyist. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so we have been talking about beer, and I'm gonna take a left turn here. Swim U. All right. So that's your big site. You've been working on it for years. This is traditionally an affiliate site, and you have been earning more with digital products that you've created yourself, right?
Yes.
So how's that going, say, over the last year?
Unbelievable. Like, it's gone from when I first started, like, I would say when I first started the site, it was like 95% was coming from affiliates, a little tiny bit coming from AdSense. You know, I did that early days. And then it was like almost 100% affiliate from there. And then I started doing my own products, and then it slowly started to, like, the ratio started to kick in where it was like, okay, you know, maybe 90-10 split, you know, maybe whatever. And it was 90-10 for a really long time. And then it got to 70-30. So meaning 70% of my income was coming from Amazon affiliate stuff, and then 30% was coming from product sales. And I hated that split because I felt that split was too one-sided. And I used to always say, like, with Amazon in particular, like, when it comes to affiliate marketing and their program, all it takes is one board meeting with, like, Jeff Bezos, and that you're not, you know, invited to, and all of a sudden there goes your income, which happened in 2018 and again in 2020. So it's like, all right, I really wanted to shift away from affiliate marketing being such a dominant source of revenue for me. Not that I was going to get rid of it, but, you know. So now it's more like it's flipped. Now it's like 70% comes from digital products, 30% comes from affiliate marketing. But that's you know, I'm much more comfortable with that because I'm more in control. Like, I'm the one that decides, you know, how much the things cost and, like, how they're sold and all that stuff. So it has completely changed my business. It has revolutionized my business. I feel much less stress, and I feel like I'm not keeping up with, you know, new products all the time, but I have to, like, change out products on my website every year. It's like, I don't really worry about that too much. I mean, in the pool industry, I really didn't have to worry about that. It's not like new products are coming out every year that like, you know, pool owners demand, you know?
Right.
But if you're running something like Wirecutter and it's like new tech coming out every friggin' month, then you're constantly updating that site with those things. Whereas with me, it's like, no, I can leave it for a whole year and just kind of let it ride, and then have my and then just keep improving my products and selling them the way I want to sell them. Which, I you know, with a lot of traffic and a well-priced product that's digital, the sky's the limit. I mean, and then now I'm in like getting into paid advertising because I'm like, okay, like I have a ROI. I know. I can calculate this. There's numbers, there's math involved. So I can go, okay, well, how much does it cost for me to acquire a customer? Okay, well, let's go and spend that on Facebook or Google Ads or whatever. So that's starting to pay off really well. And obviously, like, now 'tis the season. It's May. So, you know, it's like, it's popping off right now, if you will.
Yeah, that's awesome. So shifting away from Amazon is great. I mean, it turns out people still buy from Amazon, and even if a company wants to shift away, it's still a good move to have Amazon on there, because some people, I mean, it's convenient, even if
it's helpful.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like, I might write an article about pool maintenance. It's just a generic article about pool maintenance. I have a product that helps people take care of their pools. It's a course that teaches people pool care who don't want to hire a company and they can do it themselves. That's great. But that doesn't, you know, there's still products. Like, you still need to buy chlorine. You still need to buy skimmers. You still need to buy, like, these products. And I am basically helping you go, like, look, I've used a bunch of skimmers. This one's really good. Here it is. Don't, you don't have to go online. You don't have to shop around. And it's like, and price shop and all that. I'm just going to tell you the best one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you the budget one. So if you're a budget friendly person, then, you know, here's your skimmer. You may have to replace it every 2 years.
Sure.
If if you want the best, here's your other skimmer, which costs, you know, I mean, nominal, like $15, $20. We're not talking about a lot of money. But yeah, there's a helpfulness to affiliate. There can be a helpfulness to affiliate marketing, and not just, and it should be, I think it should be that way. Not just like constantly pitching something that no one, or that feels like, you know, you have to create a problem. Like the idea of creating a problem and then offering the solution when there really wasn't a problem to begin with kind of sucks.
You're killing my business model, man.
No, that's not true.
I'm just kidding.
It's like, no, if it was like,
you all have problems out there and we're here.
It's kind of like if I had a brewing course and my sales pitch was like, aren't you tired of drinking beer from the store when it could be laced with cocaine?
Yeah.
And it's like, I created a problem that doesn't exist. It's like, so now brew your own beer with brew cabins, level up all grain.
Yeah.
No longer drink that cocaine beer. And it also has arsenic in it. I didn't mention that earlier in my pitch, but it does have arsenic in it. And you want to be careful about that.
You don't want that.
You don't want arsenic.
You want the Coke.
So you want to be, you want the Coke. That's fine. But you don't want the arsenic. And you want to be able to like brew it yourself so that way you don't die.
We took such a big leap. You could have said weed. You know, that's legal. Weed.
Yeah. Could have said weed.
But cocaine. Okay. All right.
I was trying to think of what's actually, now I'm thinking like people want cocaine in their beers.
This is
a good leveler. You know,
I think this is like an SNL sketch.
It's like a Red Bull and vodka.
We need to workshop it a little bit. There's something.
Yeah,
there's
something
it's not
there. It's just, you know, it's the beer talking.
Only 4%.
Only
though.
4%.
So okay, so
that's how bad it's gonna get.
on Swim U, there was something absent, and I'm sure many of you realized it. So you got affiliate, and then your digital products. What about display ads? You get a shitload of traffic. Yeah. So I work with a company called Ezoic. They're awesome. They have a tool called Leap. It helps your site load faster.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, they sponsor this, and this is their spot. So this is how I work it in.
Thanks, Ezoic.
Yeah. So I have tried to get you to talk to Ezoic some.
I have.
I'll talk to you again, because I think at one point I said I'll never talk to you again about it because I'm not going to bust your balls. But we'll talk about it after we stop recording. But the thing is, you don't have any display ads.
No.
Have you ever tested them?
No.
And you're a businessman though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a discontinuity here. So you are open to earning more money. Have you done display ads for individual companies?
What does that mean?
If you made a deal with a company and you sold their products.
Yes, I have done that.
Okay. And you were like, hey, I'm going to put a banner.
Yeah, I hated that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did do it.
You have to manage it. Well,
yeah.
I can tell you one thing. I didn't want to do any display ads because it kills the user experience. As a user, I hate that. I don't want to see ads. I just don't like them. And it can really screw things up. So you get a lot of traffic. Why not test it just to see for a couple days? There's a strong chance you would increase your revenue by like 40%.
Oh, I definitely
something
will.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's taking away from the, like, there's a few reasons. One, I know, so page speed was always a reason, but I've heard now, like with my community, I've heard people using Ezoic and other ad networks where they've all addressed the problem, right, of page speed. So I no longer have that excuse. So, okay, that was one. The other one was user experience. I hate ads. I hate them. They load like crap.
Yep.
They're usually not related to, like, I used to do, AdSense way back in the day, and it was like, I run a pool site. There was nobody, doing pool content. So it felt like, I got like these Viagra pills in the middle of my pool, article about pool algae. And I'm like, this is unrelated, although I guarantee it works.
Yeah. It was a retargeting. It's so effective.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So only I saw that? So, that was like a long time ago. And then, still have ED. It's a bad joke. Then it's really like user experience, and I didn't want to take away from what I was trying to do. Like, I want to curate an experience for somebody, and I mean that like in the most general sense of like somebody comes to my website and I'm teaching them how to take care of their pool. Like, that is what I'm trying to do. And then there is an ad for my thing, like my product, that I get paid like the most amount of money for, 100% margin, minus Stripe fees, as opposed to, having some company and I'm getting paid like little tiny peanuts. Now, that doesn't mean I don't do display ads. I absolutely do on YouTube.
Sure.
So I do. So yes, am I leaving money on the table? 100,000%. Like, I could be making money. Morally, though, I feel like I'm on the other side. Like, I feel like there's going to be a reckoning of banner ads at some point where they become ineffective. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. And so, like, I just want to be that site that is just like, you know what? You know why I love this site? I don't know, but I do. And it's because you're not being bombarded with ads. Like, anytime and as somebody who understands this industry and this world, like, I read a lot of homebrewing stuff online. I go right into reader mode. Like, I have no patience for ads. Like, I have ad blocker everywhere. Like, I pay for like Hulu without ads.
Yeah,
I
same
can't.
Here. Yeah, and on YouTube,
YouTube Premium now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like, I just don't want ads in my life. Except, of course, like, Steph watches football, and it's like, you can't avoid it. And it's just annoying.
Oh, she's a football fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Elizabeth is. I don't watch sports myself, but we can get them together, and then we can go. We can go.
Why are we each other?
Here, we'll sit the same way and drink at the same time.
Well, no, I'm old. Dude, I need to. This is a thing I do.
Yeah. It's very Frasier. Did you watch Frasier?
I did.
Yeah. It's a good show.
The first and only, well, not the only, the first family pet we had was a Jack Russell because of Frasier.
Yeah. Oh, man. Eddie's the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a Jack Russell that my parents have.
Sure.
And we've had 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
2 are still alive. But yeah, it was because of Eddie.
Yeah. Eddie's a great dog. Smart dude. So, okay. So no display ads, and the cool thing,
I could test it. I could test it, and I know it'll make money. So there's no point in testing it because I know it works.
Right.
So it's like, okay, it works, but there is no at what cost. It's just that I feel like I'd rather spend that time and effort somewhere else. And I know it's like, I'm not convincing myself. I'm just trying to give you a good enough reason not to do it. And I feel like I'm not giving you that reason.
There's some holes, and I think I sense that you don't believe it either. But said, I know that it would earn more money.
Well, it's the same reason I don't use pop-ups. Like, I know pop-ups would
what? I stopped using pop-ups. In fact, I was using opt-in monster, killing load speed. They weren't working with me. And then I moved over to I haven't shown you this. It's literally the simplest thing. I was going to code like a little pop-up modal thing. And then I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to make it a link to a landing page with nothing else. And it loads lightning fast because there's nothing on there. And then I stripped away the form and I just put in my own CSS, which I got little help with, but essentially it didn't hurt conversions at all. And I don't like pop-ups in general. Even you end up with a better list without pop-ups.
Yes. And it's like, yes, you do.
It's smaller, but harder.
Right. And I
sneak that in. Yeah.
Okay, right. We won't even bring attention to it except let it sit.
They know.
Okay. But there's like, when I did pop-ups, page speed, like I can get around it because I do have a page on MoneyLab that's, I think it's pretty fast. It's called moneylab.co/email and it's like full of pop-ups, but they're all custom coded.
Oh yeah.
And, it's like really, it's not even like jQuery. It's just like all like really super light JavaScript. And you can actually do a pop-up with CSS now, like CSS animation, so you don't even really need JavaScript to do it. But that user experience of like being jarred of like I'm reading an article and it's like, oh, now you want me to do a thing. It's like, ugh, it's just kind of like, and it works. And I had to like actively say no to something that works, and it's the same exact feeling I have about banner ads. It's like I am choosing no, and I'm sacrificing, leads, and I'm sacrificing revenue. But again, it's one of those things too where it's something I'm not in control of, and I hate not being in control of it.
Mm-hmm. So
same with Amazon.
I'm not gonna bury your
lead,
your pitch here. No. I'm gonna let you talk about MoneyLab Pro just for a minute here. So what is MoneyLab Pro?
I don't know. No. MoneyLab Pro is a so on MoneyLab, which is my, kind of like where I live online as a person, as a human being. It is all of my courses. I have a course on SEO called SEO for Bloggers. I have a course on managing an editorial calendar using Asana called Asana for Bloggers. I have a course on monetization, doing affiliate marketing, creating your own digital products. I have a course on increasing page speed. I have a WordPress theme that I built and I sell all of these courses individually. MoneyLab is just all of them bundled together, plus a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, all for $49 a month. And it's at moneylab.co/pro.
And there's a affiliate link in the description. I am an affiliate, so I get a little kickback. Yeah. Yes. But it actually doesn't matter if you used his. It wouldn't matter. I'm in there, and it is a great community. I am using Carbonate on a couple sites. Mm-hmm. One of them is
that's the WordPress theme.
Yep. That's the WordPress theme. Extremely fast. I love how lean it is, and you could actually get into the code just a little bit if you're comfortable with it. There's just a few tweaks, but you could customize things exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
And I'm using it on a new podcast site that I have with my friend Carl Jensen, where we sit in these very
I'm
chairs.
Sitting in Carl's chair.
Yep.
I'm farting in Carl's chair.
You know what?
Sorry, Carl.
He does too.
Oh,
so
all right, well, I'm fine.
The site loads really fast because it's using Carbonate, and it is it's a good theme. So
thank you.
This MoneyLab Pro.
MoneyLab Pro.
If you want to check it out, and there's more details and stuff like that. And
we do a live happy hour every Friday. On a Zoom call. So if you have questions about your business or you need help, I mean, it's great because like even I need help sometimes. Sometimes I just need feedback, whatever. You can go in the community and just say like, hey, I'm working on this thing, I'm trying to get this done. What, anybody have any suggestions? And you're not just talking to you're not talking to people who have just started a business. You're talking to people who have businesses and have been doing this for a long time. And so and that's the kind of the thing with Money Lab Pro. It is actually pro. There's pro. The pro in the name is not just a marketing thing. It's people who are doing this professionally.
Full-timers, yeah.
Full-timers, yeah.
People know.
And that's
what's
the thing.
going
It is
on.
a little advanced.
Yeah.
In a good way, I think.
And how are I haven't gone through all the courses. Yeah. How are the courses? Are they more advanced level 2 or like SEO for bloggers?
SEO for bloggers, yeah. I think SEO for bloggers and the monetization course are pretty. I mean, even the Asana for bloggers is pretty. I mean, they're all accessible. The page speed for bloggers course can get a little technical because there is code involved, and I know that everyone in the community wants me to create a course called or something along the lines of HTML for bloggers. So doing basically teaching a very core level of HTML and CSS just so that you can be dangerous enough to not have to ever hire a designer or a developer to code your own site. Yeah. Because I believe that having that power is awesome. I mean, it's just it makes you unstoppable as a business owner, especially online. I mean, for only online, really.
So we're going to give a couple shout outs to the folks in the chat. So I'm just going to look down here. Of course, we have Adrian and Walt, David. We got Camping Secrets, Mark, the Quack.
Camping Secret?
Camping Secrets UK. Yeah. Of course, our friend Alex, WP Eagle, which I need to send Alex an invite. I'm going to have him on sometime again soon. Sweet. And Walt is drinking coffee. It's too early for beer in California, which I understand.
Coffee, beer, breakfast of champions.
Jason's out there too. Samuel, what's up? All right. And then I just want to give everybody a proper shout out. Happy Hydro Farm is a Metric user as well. So shout out to Metric. And you know what?
Metric in the US?
You know what?
Question.
That's
if you're
fair.
a Metric user in the UK, I have no props to give you because that's just what you guys do. But if you're a Metric user in the US, which I believe you are, then props.
Yeah. And there was a time Elizabeth and I we were like, hey, we're trying to get Metric to catch on. And we would say hey, it's going to be 20 degrees today.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Celsius is not the same, right?
Yeah.
I know it's much easier. It makes so much sense. It's all based on 100. It's 100 degrees is boiling. 0 degrees is freezing. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And here we are idiots. But have you done it at all?
No, that
switched to anything.
It was no. I think it was years ago, and I think we were having drinks that day, perhaps. And then we're like, yeah, it's going to be a great idea.
Do it.
Yeah. And then it kind of
what's the
fizzled
temperature
out.
out? 72. Damn it.
Yeah. But you know what? I got into baking.
Yeah, that is super useful.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, do you do sourdough?
I have. That's when I got into baking.
Yeah. So did you do it before the pandemic?
Yeah, this was 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
I used to have dough in the refrigerator all the time.
I would starter.
Not just starter, but it was a no need I can't remember. Basically you mix it up and you let it
ferment.
Yeah, overnight in the refrigerator, and then you would take out half.
Oh yeah,
and then read it.
Yeah, bread. Yeah.
Yeah. So years ago, and then I don't need as much bread now.
Yeah, that's fair. I started doing sourdough bread January of 2020.
Okay,
so right before.
And I smelled your starter. Right early on. Yeah.
No. Yeah. But there's as soon as it happened, I couldn't get fucking flour for the first 3 months of the pandemic.
So you're looking around for flour.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, I got into this, and everyone's going to think I got into it because of the pandemic. That's a joke. Right. But I did. But I will say,
here, I'll top you off.
Oh yeah. That I do Metric because everything it's baker's percentages. So it's much easier to start with 1,000 grams of flour and then go all right, well, I know I need 2% salt. So what is that? It's 20 grams. Okay, what's, I want a 75% hydration on my 1,000 grams. That's 750 grams. Like, it's just all easy math to do. And home brewing is going to be tough because of like liters. I mean, like now I have to think, like everything I do is in 5 gallons and I drink pints.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, all right, I know I have a 5-gallon keg. I know that's 40 pints. But now I'm going to have a 19-liter keg. Now I have to say, well, how many liters am I drinking? What's a liter? Or how many milliliters are in a pint? Like 16 ounces to milliliters. I don't know. Is it 1,000?
Let's see. So a pint is half of a quart, and a quart is about a liter. So
a quart is about a liter.
Yeah.
Oh, and you said a pint is half?
Yeah.
So 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can get close.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's so much more accurate, and it's like it's easier to do math with. But I'm trying to. Not that I want to be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tablespoons is stupid. Like that's a stupid measurement. Like who? Why? And then it's like, oh, a teaspoon's 3 tablespoons.
Mm-hmm. And then there's 16 tablespoons.
Why is there even a tablespoon? Just make it all teaspoons and just have more of them. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's not that much bigger. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, half a cup is I don't know how many teaspoons, but it's like, all right, then just do half a cup.
Yeah.
Or do a quarter of a cup. It's probably like 4 tablespoons. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think
about something. It's just like I like simplistic math is good for me. So metric makes sense. It's all round numbers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what spawns that. It's funny how conversations go on a tangent.
Well, especially with me.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's why you're here.
I know.
All right, so we have a legit question here from Camping Secrets UK. I absolutely detest ads on any website I'm looking at, but that hasn't stopped me recently from experimenting on my site. If the income goes up, then it means most people aren't fussed. Why not do it? And I think you kind of answered that before. So you have some.
You're saying like if people aren't mad about the ads, why not put ads on?
Yeah.
People aren't mad about pop-ups either. Because you can,
Yeah.
I did get, like, it depends on the
industry,
audience.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because like in home brewing, I put a pop-up ban and everyone just wrote like fuck@you.com. So it's like, all right, clearly they hate pop-ups. And then there's like, and I home brewers, everyone knows that some people need to make money, but they'll give you shit for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll give you shit for trying to like earn a buck. At some university, I know they're not going to. I just don't want that user. I don't want to see an ad. I don't want to go on my own site and see an ad for something I didn't make.
So, and I've asked you this before. Would you ever consider selling Swim University?
No.
Okay.
It's so hands off that I'd have to do math in order to sit down and go like, okay, how much, it's not worth, because all it takes for me is like, I could literally pay like one person to run it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I would make like, 10 or 15 times more than that. And so it's like, well, why? So I technically could, quote unquote, sell it to an employee and then basically run it into the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I needed something to do, and I have home brewing, but I also need I can't home brew every day. So it's like, I need something to do. And that's kind of the whole idea of what I was saying earlier about like scaling back.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, yeah, man, when you're running like 10 different websites, that's a hard job. Like,
yeah.
I know those types of people. I was trying to be one of them for sure. Because I wanted to have like a Vox situation where I had like a family of brands, and that's when I had Roasty and I had Brew Cabin and I had Money Lab and I had Listen Money Matters and I had Swim University and I had like all these different things going on, and it was like, what, like, oh yeah, of course, if you want to run all those things, like you have to hire people, like you as one person, like it's impossible. It's possible, but you'd have to be crazy organized, which I consider myself to be, but not that organized. And you have to be able to like sit down and perform the same task over and over again. And then if you can't, you start to hire out, and then you become this person. I think this is like the crux of it for me. And this is not for everybody. But the crux of it was like, I wanted to scale and I wanted to hire out. And all of a sudden my job title changed. I became this manager person, and I was like the puppeteer. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So I was like just in this weird sort of floaty area where I'm like, you do this and you do that, and like I have this machine, and I'm kind of like, just like, if you're in a factory and you're like the person up in the glass box and you're looking down, like that's kind of how it felt. And I'm not that person. Like I don't want to wear a suit and tie. I don't want to think about numbers all day. Like I want to be down there putting doors on cars. Like I want to be in the weeds. I enjoy that work. Mm-hmm. And so when you have such a big assembly line, it becomes like, well, it's not as enjoyable to put one door on the same car over and over and over again. But if you have a much like smaller team, and each car you build is super custom, and you are a person with many hats who can like that's so much more rewarding to put that car out into the world. And then when you do, it's not just a cookie cutter piece of shit. It's like an actual good product. Mm-hmm. Cars might be the worst example of this in because it's like, how do you make money on that? But it's like, I'm okay with putting out 5 cars a year. You know what I mean? As long as I'm proud of them, because I'm a creator at heart. So mm-hmm. being a manager feels like a crappy job, and I didn't want that job. So having less and then working in the business, which I know everyone says, like, if you want to scale your business, you need to work on your business, not in your business. I fucking understand that. Like, I fundamentally get that.
Yeah.
I just don't like the job of working on my business all the time.
Right. Because you have to sometime. Yeah.
You have to. I love it once a month, where at the end of, the beginning of every month, I sit down and I look at all the numbers across all 3 brands, and I put them into spreadsheets, and I do my accounting, and I just like, I do all of like the boring work. But for me, it's like, how well did my creative skills pay off this month? Mm-hmm. They did good. Like, how well did this, 2-month experiment do? I'm excited about like, putting the work in. And then at the end of the day, I have a product. It's like gardening, I guess, mm-hmm. where it's like, yeah, I want to get my hands dirty. I don't want to hire somebody to come out and do that personally.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some things where, no, I absolutely want to hire that. It's like, it's not everything. But as a creator, I do enjoy kind of like the nitty gritty of it. So I just figured, all right, well, if I do like like stop trying to not enjoy that, just scale back and go. And then it was really about being comfortable with the income. Because mm-hmm. like your income is going to be lower when you choose this, but your life may be happier and more fulfilling. And that mm-hmm. was sort of the trade-off, which is like, oh, okay, yeah, I may not be making a ton of money because I'm not putting ads on there, or I'm not like scaling the business and perhaps like selling it and making a couple million, but my job is, my life is pretty easy.
Yeah, I texted you yesterday and you're here now. So
kind of like that. Yeah, just like that.
So,
and I could be here all day.
Yeah. we have enough beer to make that work. We're not going to run out of beer. So, and I'm going to come back to some of those points in a second. I think it's important to point out, because I'm in some, and we run in a lot of the same circles, but there's definitely like, entrepreneurs that want to earn just like a fuckload of money, and they want, there's communities where it's like, hey, 7 and 8 figure business owners only, and I don't make that much, right? And that's okay. And I feel like, oh, am I getting left behind because like other people are making more money? And then you have to step back. And for me personally, I'm like, what game am I playing? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Yeah. Am I doing work that I don't like to do? I'm going to cut that out.
Yeah.
And then I want to focus on the things that I enjoy, and maybe even do more of those things that I enjoy, even if they're hard sometimes, but they end up being fulfilling, just like you're talking about. So could we have, 7, 8 figure businesses? Probably, but we're not.
I'm not willing to do that work to get there.
Right. And I'm at heart actually fairly lazy, like many engineering types are.
Really?
And Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm always looking for like an efficient way, and I don't want to do extra stuff. And I can get up and do some work, but I am at heart fairly lazy.
Okay.
And I have a high like productivity output. In spite of most people have not seen my workspace, but you've walked through a couple of times. It's pretty messy. There's kind of shit everywhere. And my wife is very neat and organized, but I always have a workspace that is kind of just, there's stuff everywhere. And for some people, the disorganization, I'm looking at it all. There's plenty of just any flat space. I'm going to cover it with just bullshit.
Yeah.
So are you a neat worker? You have a clean workspace?
Yeah, but that was not me. I mean, I found that being organized and being neat actually led to more revenue. So I sort of like trained myself, because I used to just be the messiest, laziest fuck. Like my dad will tell you, as a kid, as an adolescent. And then once I started my business, it became like, kind of a get your shit together moment. And I just became like a clean person. Yeah. Organized person, which is like when you see my desktop, like not my literal desktop, but my computer desktop. It's like it's like one thing. It's like one like hard drive.
Oh, you know what? Mine's like that.
Yeah, yours is like that. Yeah.
I don't have much going on there.
That's not normal.
Yeah, digitally, I'm fairly.
Are you an inbox zero dude?
No.
See, it's I find that crazy surprising, because Miles said the same thing, and I was just like, "What? How are you?" I'm like, I am obsessive about not having emails in my inbox.
Oh, I think. Well, Miles, how big is his YouTube channel? It's like 150K or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So like when you just got a little channel, man. I got to be honest with you. But
yeah, when I don't get emails, that's the thing.
Yeah, so when no one
likes me.
You will get more and more emails. I don't know what the cutoff is, but like I think it's like 5,000 subscribers, and then people start filtering for you.
Well,
and then
I mean, I'm super ruthless with like being like I'm just like one sentence, responses, and I'm also like very. I also like I get emails. I get channeled different ways, and I do have one person who answers emails for me, because like Swim University is that we get like, I mean, nowadays we'll get 50 emails a day,
Okay.
But then like every other day we have somebody that goes in and answers those emails and cleans it up.
Yeah.
So
gotcha.
But then that's also like kind of my first job of the day is like clean out the inbox. Okay, now we can work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't keep up. And people in the chat and watching.
Well, Alex will know. I mean, I didn't respond to him for like, I felt bad because like he had sent me an email, and I was like sitting there, and it was like one of those things where I was like, oh, this is taking too long. Yeah. So then I think Steph's mom was in town, and then I was like, he had a good email, and I needed to respond to it, but I didn't have time to like digest it and look into it.
Yeah.
And then by the time I did, he was like, I already did, the thing that he was trying to do, and I was like,
Alex moves fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he does.
Oh, just in general, like his videos or Alex Cooper, right? Yeah. So he has a pretty high throughput of like production and all that stuff. So,
there you go.
Yeah. So I would love to do better with emails and stuff, but what typically happens is I'll reply back quick. Like if you and I are exchanging something, or if it's something like if it's personal or turnaround. But then I get a lot of requests for just random shit from random people. And sometimes I think about it, and now I'm getting better at either just ignoring it or
I usually ignore it.
Like you said, the quick responses. But if I actually batched it probably once a day, that would work. But I usually would rather go fuck off and do something else. And then it stacks up. And then maybe every 2 weeks, I have a executive assistant who helps out with some stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much mine.
And then at some point I go in, she's like, you should hop in there, the emails are stacking up. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, I'll get back, I'll do it. So all right, couple other questions here. Matt says, or not Matt, Samuel says, hey Matt, how much do the sales drop in the winter on SwimU?
Oh, do you want to know the number or do you want to know the revenue?
Give a percentage. Yeah. Okay. So how much does it drop? Just like
a lot. Like right now, like May, June, July, even March and April. It probably drops by 60%. It's pretty significant because
from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
Yeah, because it's highly seasonal.
Yeah.
And it's also a short. One of the benefits of the industry is it kind of has a baked in scarcity. Because you have 3 months depending on where you live, 3 to 4 months of like your pool being open and you actively being able to use it. It's like, I need to fix this shit right now because I'm limited on time. And so if I'm, offering a solution to that, then it's like, I don't really need a countdown timer. It's like, what the countdown timer is, spring. So
there you go.
It dropped significantly, but I also have a hot tub course that kind of like sustains us throughout the winter time. And I've been, I've been in the pool industry since I was 13, and I've worked in corporate since when I was like 20. I want to say 23 on, like 23 to like maybe 27. So I worked like literally next to the boss that owned the company. He owned multiple, retail stores, and we built and sold in-ground pools and stuff like that, and hot tubs. And I was the marketing director. And so I kind of learned early on how to manage money during those, like, you really have to like kind of make all your money in the spring and then budget for the winter and know that like you're not going to screw, you can't like overspend in the wintertime. You kind of have to like, it's a hibernation technique in business. And so I kind of knew that I knew that pretty early on, and I practiced that. There was 1 year I did not practice it very well, and I went into debt. But other than that, like every other year, I've been very good at like sort of trying not to, overspend in the wintertime and like learning to scale back in a way that doesn't like, cripple the business.
Got it. All right, I'm going to hit 2 quick questions, and then I'm going to send one over to you, Matt. And then after that, we'll have a quick little break where I'll play that spot I was telling you about.
Nice.
So
how long is the spot?
I think it's like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
5-6 minutes. Okay. Yeah, we could take a minute here, maybe refill upstairs if we need to. Okay, this is from Muhammad. Muhammad says, thanks for the live. Can you please help me find which tools are good to find niches to start in affiliate marketing? And I'll point you towards any of the keyword research videos on my channel and on your channel if you have any on Money Lab, any keyword research related.
Not on the channel, but in Money Lab Pro we talk about it a little bit. But I mean,
yeah. Just search on YouTube. I have like 50 videos covering like niches.
Just give one quick tip.
Sure, got it.
Sit in a quiet room by yourself. What do I like? That's it. Like one tip I got early on was take a notepad, walk around your house, and just start writing things down that in your house that you have and that you like. And it's like, guitar, beer, camera gear, box fan. I don't know. Like, it's like, and you start writing these down, and then you start to do keyword research on those things, and then you find your niche. Niche.
Yep. And you can head over, Mohammed, to nichesiteproject.com, click the green button, enter your name and email, and then you'll be able to get a lot of like guides and other information, one of which is all about starting a site, whether it's Amazon affiliate or something else. It kind of guides you in the right direction. The other question, Connected Watches Official, which is an interesting name, is what's the best way to get into niche edits? And I would say, for the people that don't know, that's where you have a link inserted into a specific article that already exists. So I would just say, first, probably go find a video or just Google the process. But in general, you will be emailing a shitload of people, offering them money to insert a link somewhere. So that is generally how it works. And through trial and error and just like getting a huge list of websites that you may be able to reach out to. Anything to add? No.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, not a fun thing. All right. And then Adrian mentions that I'm not into ads, but in these crazy times, if people don't see ads on a website, they'll think something is wrong. So what I'm trying to say is at some level, ads make sense on a website. They are pretty prolific these days. Yeah.
I disagree. With you. You think a site is wrong because it doesn't have ads?
I think
people have ad blockers. That's like my other thing too. Like ad blocking as a plugin is like I think it's like the most downloaded plugin or the most downloaded extension.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
yeah. I think
that's incorrect, by the way. I'm just
so
sure.
Adrian, we respect your opinion, but I think we're in the world of like looking at websites all the time and evaluating them. So we see websites where we're trying to earn money. So people do run ads. So one would think, but look at say Niche Site Project or other affiliate marketing blogs. I don't have any. Yeah. I have a couple like display ad sponsorship things, but it's very minor. And if you look at other marketing blogs, we don't put ads on our sites because we're selling our own stuff. That's what you're doing on your site, right?
That's the other thing too. Is like I do have affiliate marketing stuff, but I want to increase my bounce rate, not lower it. So I don't want to like people constantly clicking away from my site. But that's I'm trying to think of what other industries, like Adrian brings up a good, like, you know, even though I disagree, I'm thinking, well, maybe I don't disagree. Maybe like, what websites are you visiting where ads are so prolific? Because
recipe sites and food blogs, they are everywhere. So if in fact,
because I mean, again, with ad blocker, I don't see this shit.
Yeah.
You know, I just have to, and honestly, I don't go on recipe sites. I can't.
Yeah, they're a nightmare because, and I did a podcast.
When's that shit gonna end?
Yeah, don't even get me started. I did a whole.
But that's my argument. Is like we all can sit there and we all know that this practice sucks. It sucks so bad to be like, I don't want to hear a story about your grandmother's heirloom flour. I just want the goddamn recipe.
Yep.
And it's like,
yep.
Maybe I do want to hear a little bit about your grandmother's heirloom flour, but
not now.
Like, not right.
I'm trying to get the recipe.
Yes, I'm trying to make the recipe. I'm pressed for time. We all collectively make that joke in this industry.
Yeah.
Are we the minority? Is there a subset of people? Clearly, is there a subset of people that's like, no, I like reading the story before the recipe. My friend texted me the other day who is not in this industry at all, and he was like, I would pay you an ungodly amount of money to develop a Google, like an extension that erased like all the content on a food blog.
They have them. They have this.
Them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how the hell are they doing that?
We talked about Bill Burr. You don't like him too much, but a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So on his podcast, he complains about that as well. And someone sent in, there's a website where it removes all the bullshit and just shows the recipe. So like you have to enter in the URL and then it'll rip everything out except the recipe. So I think that's it. I'm
wondering how does that
someone can find the link for us. Okay, so here's
the same thing with like Facebook. You can get an extension that removes baby pictures. I'm just like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's smart. Yeah. We don't want to see your baby walk anymore. Okay, so Jan asks, and I'll send this to you, of course. Okay. So SwimU has about 200 posts. Is it a deliberate decision to only have 200 so that it's easier to manage as a one-man show?
It is not deliberate that it's 200. It is deliberate that it is in the sense that, like, and this is something I talk about kind of frequently, which is I kind of treat Swim University and all my brands as textbooks as opposed to, say, magazines, where like magazines like our traditional blogs where you're putting out like new articles every single month. And it never ends. Like a magazine always comes, you can always sort of like rely on it. Whereas a textbook in this case, and this is somebody who didn't go to college, so not really familiar with it, but The idea, it's just a joke. But like the idea being that like it's the same textbook every single year. There's just an updated edition. And that textbook doesn't really get all that much bigger or all that much smaller. It may like kind of fluctuate in size a little bit because things change, especially science textbooks, you know, like new things are coming out all the time. And so you know, kind of treating the site as like, oh, I made the textbook and now I'm just sort of managing that. And so every single year it's a, you know, it's the same thickness roughly, but it's just new content. And so it doesn't necessarily make it easier to manage. I don't think I could manage a site that has 1,000 articles. It's just, I mean, technically you could argue I'm running like 300 articles because if I'm running 3 different websites. But once I put so much work into an article that when it goes out, like I know I don't have to worry about it for like 5 years. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of that's kind of like the way I think about article writing is like I'm writing something timeless, mm-hmm. and I don't want to go back and update it, and so I write it so that it is timeless. Okay, that's kind of the answer there.
Got it. All right, and this is a spot which I'm going to have to get closer to the computer. This is from ODYS, ODYS. So I'm going to play the ad here. Hold on. I got to get closer. Let's see. Let's have a look at the featured domain for the day. This one is called realparanormalexperiences.com. So do you guys believe in ghosts? Turns out I am so fascinated with like ghost and the supernatural and stuff. I don't believe in ghosts, but that's not really the point of this whole thing. But I always sort of read the stories and try to like learn the history of a place, and I'll sort of tie this together. So let's look at the domain and not hear about the things that I don't believe in. So this is Real Paranormal Experiences. It is over here at ODYS Global. That's ODYS. And I do need to mention that if you sign up using my link, you can get $100 into your account. So what might you do with this site? Well, first, let's just look at the metrics really quickly here. So I'm over at Ahrefs, and you can see that the domain rating is about 10. There are 175 referring domains, and 110 of them are due follow. A lot of them are highly relevant and they're pretty kick-ass links. We'll take a look at a couple of them and just look at sort of the referring domains in general. That's kind of the thing that I like to look at myself. The organic traffic was, kind of significant for a little while and then tapered off. And of course, now there's no traffic. It's just sitting there. There are quite a few competitors out there. So I think there's a pretty good amount of just keywords that you could go after and you could check those other sites. I actually have some fantastic ideas, which I'll tell you about in a second. It is ranking for a handful of keywords, even still with no content out there. So if you actually publish the content again, you'd probably stand a pretty good chance to rank. Now, again, I mentioned the referring domains. So we have these are the do follow. So we have Business Insider, we have Libsyn, Podbean, Bustle, Insider.com, Hub Pages, Ranker, LoveToKnow.com, and so on. There's just a lot of sort of high-powered links out there. Now, what might you do with this site? And I'm just going to pop back over here on the full screen if I can do that. It always takes me a second here. The thing is, with this domain, there are really endless. I would contend there are endless informational topics that you could add to this site. You basically could take like a local approach, and I'll give you a specific example. Like I said, I'm sort of fascinated to go on ghost tours, and I've been on a couple. They're always fun. Like I said, I don't believe in ghosts, but I just like to go check it out. You know, I like to hear the history. There's always stories behind it. So actually, not too far from here is the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, and that is where Stephen King stayed when he was inspired to write the book called The Shining, which is fantastic. He even wrote a sequel for it. So I took the ghost tour over at the Stanley. Really fun. I also traveled to Leadville, Colorado not too long ago. You may have seen that video that I did. And it's an old mining town, lots of history. Now it's more of a sort of a tourist spot, some small businesses in there, but generally it's a place where people do things in the mountain and they make that their home base. It has many buildings and many structures and history that are, a couple hundred years old. And there's all these ghost stories. So I literally got to town and Googled Leadville, Colorado ghost stories or hauntings or something like that to see what was going on. And sure enough, there are multiple stories. There's even a whole book on it. So I contend that you could find and research and hire people to find these ghost stories all over the country for basically every single little town. And you may think, oh, where am I even going to find this information? There are books for any locality. So you can find like Yellowstone National Park ghost stories, or, Atlanta, Georgia ghost stories, or Boulder, Colorado ghost stories. I'm not very original. I'm only thinking of places that I've been to and or lived, but you get the point. Other metrics on this site, created in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and I'm thinking that you probably could monetize with ads just in general, but one little extra thing is if you actually pulled together enough content for a specific location. For example, let's say you focused on Colorado and you got all this content on Colorado ghost stories, you probably could find the different companies that give ghost tours and have them run ads. Like I said, there are ghost tours all over different places that have some historical things going on, which I would say most big cities probably have at least a few hundred years of history. You can cover the stuff there. And then you potentially could promote these trips and tours. You can get a payment for specific referrals, or you could just run ads specifically. If you thought even bigger, let's say I really focused on Leadville, for example, I might be able to have some sort of affiliate relationship or referral commission to refer people to hotels or Airbnbs or whatever. So if you're really into the supernatural, if you're really into this sort of stuff, you could go this route. One other thing I'll layer on top is there are actually little devices and like ghost hunting tools that people use. And I put that in quotes for maybe obvious reasons, but they're little devices, and sometimes it'll detect like electromagnetic waves or some kind of other thing. I don't know what they do. The point is you could be an affiliate for those products. So you literally could have reviews on those products, take pictures and do whatever. So if you were into this genre, if you were into this niche, it'd be a perfect site to snag. And like I mentioned before, the links going to it are pretty amazing. So thanks again to ODYS Global. Don't forget, you can get $100 into your account if you use my affiliate link. So you can just follow it over there, and I appreciate the support. We're back.
All right.
So thanks to ODYS, and remember, you can get $100 in your account if you sign up using my affiliate link, which I appreciate so much if you do. They sponsored the show, so Matt and I can sit around and drink beer, which is super cool. We are out of beer, and we talked about it, and we decided we're going to have a Belgian wit to keep things cool, and then I have a couple others that are bigger, and I'm not sure how long we're going to go.
Make things hot.
And we have a group brew Doppelbock that I brewed with a guy named Colin and Chuck back in Atlanta 11 years ago. This is a very old beer. So we'll open that probably after we finish the wit. And then we have a Belgian Dark Strong that I brewed like 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years ago.
Lives end.
3 years ago.
Live stream.
And everything ends. So we have a couple options if we end up talking, which I think we have quite a crowd now. People are hanging out.
They came for the ad.
They came for the ad. They did. Actually, more people showed up for the ad for whatever reason. Okay, we're going to snag this wit here. And one thing we were talking about right before we came back live here was just YouTube. And you were doing a lot more lives. And yeah, what's the status of that? What's going on?
I don't know. I do know. So we in February I did an experiment on Money Lab that was I'm going to create this show called Money Lab Live, And the idea, like, once I found out about Ecamm, which is what we're using, you know, what you use, I was like, all right, this sounds really cool, because I like the idea of like producing, like I love making videos. Like I love spending on, you know, a ridiculous amount of time on making a video, and I like producing videos, but with live streams, I could produce on the fly, and I kind of thought that would be fun to do. And there's a show that I watch religiously called Office Hours with Tim Heidecker, and it's a comedy show that I watch on YouTube, and then I subscribe to Patreon, and I so there's more content there, and it's like a live YouTube show, right? We're comedy, and I thought that's cool. We could do that for Money Lab. Like maybe that's the secret, right? Where like I can write blog posts on Money Lab, but they take so long to make because it takes like months to do an experiment sometimes. Whereas like what could be the consistency? And I used to podcast, and that was okay. But once, you know, there's a point where I got to like a couple thousand subscribers, and it was like, all right, you're done. Like that's all you're gonna get. And it never grew for like a year. So I was like, all right, let's move it off the podcasting platform and go into the YouTube platform where I know like you can use the algorithm to your advantage and all that stuff. Well, it turns out it kind of worked in the beginning, and then it sort of like started to taper off a bit. And while I actually enjoy doing live streams like this, I do like it. It wasn't moving the needle. And it's like, and the amount of work it takes to put on a live show, because I'm not just doing like, you know, like I know a lot of people will just like throw their webcam on and just go, you know, like no.
It's like this.
It's like this is not.
I had to go. I don't have the control panel you have. You have that one with colors on it and stuff.
There are lights here. There are multiple. Like there's a whole stage you set up. Like I'm talking about the laptop. I'm in the middle of the woods. I'm gonna throw in a, you know, whatever.
Or their phone falls down off the tripod or something. Yeah, there's some lo-fi
stuff, which is also it's good if the content is good, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the content that I'm putting out there is way too niche. It's like, it's not just, you know, how to find a niche. It's like, I'm going to tell you how to set up this weird, like, you know, automation strategy for like, you know, people that are in my position, which is like few and far between. So it doesn't make for good. Like, I'm not teaching people how to start a business. I'm teaching people how to manage a business kind of for the long term. And that is not as sexy as like, here's how to, you know, build an authority site from scratch. And I know like those people, you have the income schools, like even Miles talks a lot about, not all the time, but like sort of like newbie territory. And I just don't go into that because I don't find it interesting anymore as a person. But I'm trying to figure out what the next phase is for Money Lab, and I think it's not about education; it's about storytelling. And I'm still figuring it out, but I feel like I have all these blog posts on Money Lab that are actual stories because I've done a challenge or I've done an experiment that has like a beginning, middle, and end. And could I dramatize that in a video format with like really clever and fun editing and like really make it creative and artistic and like have songs and like weird, like just go nuts and try that and see if the world wants something like that. And if the world wants something like that, great. You know, does it translate into, you know, people signing up for Money Lab Pro in this example, where they can get the actual education behind the story is an idea. You know, and then still doing the live show that I do, but just doing it within the Money Lab Pro community. So it's kind of like a behind the paywall sort of live show.
Got it.
Is my thought process.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
Still figuring it out.
YouTube changes all the time too, and you know, kind of classic example. You were like, oh, maybe the live streams will be a little bit easier to produce, and lives get some preference when you're actually live.
When you're live, yeah.
And, you know, funny thing, you know, I tried to plan out and produce a little better with some videos in the past year. Not many. But when I did, it actually went okay, but not great.
But not gangbusters.
Right. So about a week ago, I published a video. One of my friends, Morton Storgard. Have you bumped into Morton yet? Income Geek.
Feel like I have.
Okay. Yeah, you guys should connect so I can hook up the intro. But basically, I covered one of his sites, and I had a pretty good headline because the site's like valued at $1 million-ish or so.
Oh, I did watch this. Yeah, okay. I watched this video you did. Yeah.
So basically in the last 2 years, the best videos that I've had are the throwaway videos that took me about 15 to 20 minutes to do because they had a good headline.
Yeah.
And I know how to write headlines and I know keyword research. So if you could meld them together a little bit and have a good thumbnail, which is stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the reasons, and I've done this a couple times. So one of the reasons why I think a video will go like more viral, even for our small sort of internet marketing world, when people subscribe after watching that video or during that video, that is one that is shared around. More. So suggested more.
Well, you think that's why everyone says like and subscribe?
Well, funny enough, in the couple videos that I had just threw together, I didn't mention my name. I didn't say like or subscribe. I just presented the information because actually no one gives a shit about me. And you know what? The common knowledge, right? The common knowledge. And I mentioned this on like a group call at one point. And I was like, I explained the observation that I just said. And then someone said, well, I just went through a YouTube course and you should always say like and subscribe and all that stuff. But it's like noise. It's like ads.
Well, let's talk about the most like timeless nonsense, right? Or that's not what I want to say, but like, dude, one day Facebook gets rid of YouTube gets rid of the like buttons.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you have like this entire library of videos where you're going like and subscribe, hit that bell. Yeah. So you don't miss a video. It's like you look like an idiot. You're gonna like it's like all the people who still do annotations and they're pointing at nothing and you can't click shit anymore. It's like, but you're not going to go back and update those. You recorded the video where you're going like, oh, click this and click that. It's over here.
Yeah.
You know, like if cards, everyone's like, oh, it's up here, and you look like an idiot because there's no cards anymore. And it's like I kind of run in this like now Semi Diversity doesn't do this, but when I like with Brew Cabin, I have this like this little mini experiment that's taking a long time to figure out. But I did 2 videos on Brew Cabin, and they were highly produced and highly like, and the I have 2 videos on Brew Cabin. The channel has about 4,500 subscribers, and I get comments because like it's a YouTube community, so like people go, how the hell does this person have 2 videos and this many subscribers in a space that like the top people are getting like 25,000 subscribers max, right? So it's like, how did I go from 0 to 60 like that, you know, in a sense? And I've been, you know, that this was always the plan for the Brew Cabin YouTube channel, is like I wanted to come in guns blazing. And I talked to my friend Thomas, who runs Thomas Frank on YouTube, and I kind of pitched him like, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing like where every video on the channel is like different and is like kind of a parody and kind of like,
it's like Community. It's like did you watch that show?
It's probably my second or third favorite show of all time.
After Arrested Development.
Yeah, Arrested Development's number 1.
Where we share a brain.
Yeah, and then maybe like, I'm trying to think if 30 Rock might be 2. 30
Rock's shit. 2. 30 Rock's pretty good.
Yeah, and then maybe Community's 3.
Okay.
Yeah, but only the first 3 seasons, and then like 5 and 6. I'll
didn't Dan Harmon left or something?
He got fired season 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But and then he came. Then they brought him back because
he's good.
It's the lost season. But and same with like Arrested Development 4 and 5. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. The first 3 were pretty.
Yeah,
I mean
they're tight.
Yeah,
so like so the idea is like like each episode is like it's kind of its own little mini movie, and you can look at like I've been kind of rewatching Master of None, because I know the new season came out, and like every single episode is kind of its own little thing. And so as a season, as like a thing, it's like it feels very epic. It feels very like it's broad in its scope. And so I pitched this idea to Thomas. He goes, I think that's the great move. And I thought he would argue it. I thought he would say, no, you need to be consistent with your content. You need to do the YouTube things. You need to like promote the YouTube-ness of it. What I think I've learned from just those 2 videos is like the effort and the scope are rewarded. Like YouTube is rewarding that sort of like that understanding. And I don't know how they're doing it, but like I can tell you that the amount of comments that I get on those videos, like the amount of engagement that I get because it is so unique in the industry and is so different, and it's in the scope. I think that's like the word that I kind of looked at and thought like this is that's the word that's hard to kind of put your finger on. But like my first video is me building a home brewery in 40 days. I recorded everything. I did something big. If you think about it, like the biggest YouTuber, or one of the biggest YouTubers, not the biggest one, is Mr. Beast. And his videos are like epic in scope. Like the content, like editing is whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like, what is he doing in the video that is so ridiculous and so like, insane? And as a viewer, requires a ton of effort and work. And I think that, and I've seen him talk about that on podcasts where like your audience is not like your audience deserves it and they recognize it when it happens. So I thought that was really interesting. It obviously makes for much harder stuff to do, but the reward is huge. It's like you kind of like plant yourself in this like untouchable space, right? Where it's like, I'm working on my 3rd video for Brew Cabin. It's taking me months to do. And I still have the same amount of subscribers and they still keep growing. And then I hope that like when I put this 3rd video out, those subscribers that I gained from the first 2 are going to be like, gee, like he did it again. Like unbelievable. Like I'm willing to sit here and wait this long for this type of content. And then I always think about the person who finds my content 2 or 3 years later, where I actually have a library of stuff, and they're like,
they blast through.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, this is the best. This is the greatest like free asset of all time. Like, I'm so glad I found this, and I think that never ends. Like, that's just going to be constant.
And I think so. Your story there, I think, supports what I was saying, where people watch a video and they subscribe.
Yeah.
You don't have a huge set of videos that show that, but you only have 2. So a lot of people are subscribing after they watch those videos.
And I don't say that, right? I don't say subscribe, and subscribe.
People can't see this. So this is I'm showing Matt my analytics. And basically I published a video, and then all of a sudden a lot of people were subscribing to my channel based on the one video that I mentioned, that throwaway video that I shot really quickly.
The one about where you broke down that person's website.
Yep.
Morton's website.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. And it got like 10,000 views in a week.
I knew that video is everything.
And then it tapers off.
Sure.
It tapers off because the algorithm, right? So they suggest it, and then they keep expanding outside your normal audience.
Yeah.
And once it stops getting traction, then it falls apart. And I've had that happen a couple of times. And like I said, your theory or your example supports where it's like, if you show a video and people subscribe to your channel, that's the one that will get suggested more and more.
Yeah, the other part too is like when you have like it's funny because the video that I had with building the home brewery, that took off in the beginning, but then took off again like 3 months later.
Yeah. Where
like it started getting recommended like crazy.
Yep.
But I also rank for both those videos for their respective keywords.
Okay.
So it's like not that I chose to do the videos based on that. I chose to do them because, I chose to do the first one because I was actively building something, and my friend was like, you should document this. Like, this is a kind of an important thing. Like, even if you don't do anything with it, it's nice for you to have as a person who built something, and you now have documentation of it. And so I would just go out into the garage and just film myself, like just kind of vlog style, you know, and then craft it a like kind of a mini documentary off of those pieces, and then went back and filmed like little things to like fill in the gaps. And I'm doing the same thing now with I'm growing hops in the backyard. So the first day I decided to just whip out my iPhone and just film what I was doing. And I've been writing a journal because it's going to take me, you know, I started May 12th, and you know, by September I hope to have some cones and then be able to brew with it. So now it's not just a video where it's like, hey, I planted some hop. Like, it's like, you know, I could do a video where I'm like, hey, my name is Matt. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be planting some hop cones, and we're going to be planting some hop vines or whatever. And I'm going to show you how I do it. What the fuck do I know? So I go out there and I just like, I go to Lowe's and I get some, you know, soil and whatever. And I put this together, and it's like, all right, that's my video. Check back for part 2 when I have whatever. That's cool. That's fine. It's a good video. Are people going to be like, yeah, I'm going to share this? Like, yeah, maybe a couple people, you know, it's like, it's going to be okay. But if you're the person who puts out the video, the one fucking video that answers every single question, that is the most epic of scale and the most like epic of scope, where it's one video where you saw me plant, I told you what I did, you saw each growth day after day after week after week till I grew these hop plants and how much I fertilized and all this shit. And then I picked the cones, and then I went and made a beer, and I had tasting. Like, I showed you soup to nuts the whole fucking purpose of why I was doing this. That video never goes away. It's something that somebody could watch a million years from now. I don't know about a million. We may not be here, but it feels so. Yeah, it's 4 years from now. It feels so fucking epic, and like it requires planning and diligence, and it's not hard work. Like today I did a video where I just like got my iPhone, went outside, watered the plants, talked a little bit about it. And then, you know, in sort of like August, I'll probably start to edit those videos together and start to build the storyline. And I think this is why Money Lab has worked so well, because it's kind of like you're baking in this natural story progression, which is, hey, I'm going to try to do this thing. Will he succeed or not? And like you kind of follow along the journey, and then hopefully I succeed at the end. And so you're following some kind of storyline. There's some thread, even though it's online business, which is like, imagine the video where you're like, I'm going to teach you how I got here where I am right now, as opposed to the video where you started as nobody with like no coding experience, and you were just so diligent at documenting your entire process from like year 1 to year 4, and now you're like a millionaire. That video is the most unbelievable video. Like, how do you top that? That's the best. That's the ultimate make money online video ever made.
You should do that.
Too late. I could dramatize it where I go, I like put on a wig, you know, and like dye my beard, and I'm like, you know, or shave it even, and just go like, I'm mad. I'm it's 2006.
25. So, as the, so we'll hit some questions coming back in a second here. I'll give the counterpoint, and yes, I would say you're right. It's different, right? There's two different ways. My channel, and I have a couple other, I guess, like failed or neglected channels, but here on the
Doug Cunnington channel.
Yeah, Doug Cunnington. What's it called? The Doug Cunnington channel. Basically, I have a ton of videos, many of them incomplete and just like part of a story. And I opted for like sheer reps, and I did it over and over again. And it's a different route, and it's you know, you can see all the mistakes and blemishes. Where like the interesting part, right? So in whatever couple months, you're gonna have like 4 or 5 videos on Brew Cabin, right?
And probably 10,000 or 20,000 subscribers, hopefully.
Right, and the thing is, like, it's very interesting because you also do online business, so you can go and talk about your story of how you've grown this channel with just 5 videos, which is counter to so many other where it's like publish more often, do this, do that. But in the other thing that, I mean, you've done a ton of video production and other creative work where like the things that you were just explaining, even though I do have the equipment to do stuff, I could barely do a vlog because I hate I don't do any of the stuff.
And it's a passion project too. So like there is, and I'm not selling it very well, and I don't mean to sell it because like Money Lab is where I tried doing weekly videos. It, wasn't really doing it for me. Swim University, we do weekly videos, weekly animated videos. That crushes. That works. And we tell people to like and subscribe. So at the very end, but we do it. So whether that works or not, we don't know. But like that channel is going to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we've been doing that since 2013. Yeah. So it's like, it's just, we've not been doing it at this scale where we're producing a video every week. We've probably been doing that for the past 2.5 years, where we're like consistently putting out a video every 2 weeks. And it's a very small industry. And like, we're going to hit like the biggest pool channel on YouTube. Mm-hmm. We're not there yet, but probably by July we'll hit it. And it's like, cool. All right. And we're going to keep going after that. And that's a totally different strategy. And it makes sense for that, like what we're doing there. Brew Cabin, I'm trying something totally different. Yeah. And now I have 2 stories to tell. Here's one way to do it. Here's another way to do it. And they both work in their own way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But it's fun. I'm having a stupid amount of fun. I complain about like how long it's taking me to make this video that I'm working on right now, but it's like, I mean, it's
like a movie.
It's a movie. I'm making a movie, a little mini movie. Yeah,
it's nuts. All right, so I'm going to blast through some more questions and direct people, and then we're going to open up the. Should we have the other Wit or Doppelbach? Should we skip it or?
I don't know. It's up to you, man.
Okay. All right. So
I want to try a 10-year-old. Okay. Well, no,
it's 11 years. Yeah.
11-year-old Doppelbach.
Okay, Belil says, sir, please describe in some steps how do you do niche research for Amazon affiliate or for affiliate niche site blogs. Just go to nichesiteproject.com/Amazon-affiliate, and that explains exactly what you're looking for over the course of several posts, and it takes you step by step. So just go there, sign up for the email list.
And it's Mr. Sir to you.
Mr. Sir. All right. Okay. And we didn't watch the ad, but it was for an age domain.
One aged domain.
Yeah, an age domain. I feature an age domain. So ODYS has age domains with good branding and strong backlinks. Yes. And it was on paranormal experiences. So the question is, do you believe in ghosts, Matt?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't believe in ghosts either, but I'm always interested. I love taking a ghost tour, man.
I like, you know what I like? I'm not a real big horror movie guy, but I like haunted hayrides and houses. Cause I walk through it like the most casual, and I usually get drunk beforehand cause it's fun. Yeah. But I'll just walk through and like somebody will be like, blah, and I'm like, I just keep walking. Cause I understand, like I know how it's made, and I'm not scared. Yeah. But like, I enjoy it cause it's funny to, I don't know. I don't believe in ghosts. Oh my God. If I believed in ghosts, it'd be dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either, but yeah.
I know, I know ghosts that don't exist because I've tried. I've summoned them many a times and they don't come.
Yeah. And Jason says, Ghost Adventures is my guilty pleasure. There's hundreds of those shows. So this site basically had, it was like realparanormalexperiences.com, and I was like, this is a great site because there are stories, there are books. Like
I used to read those shits all the time. Yeah.
So usually it's just a history story. You learn what happened. So if I travel to a town, I will try to see if there's like hauntings or whatever, just because usually you get to hear some interesting stories about the town and the history.
Hot take. It's the same phenomenon of murder shows, right? It's just the other side of it. So it's like everyone just likes murder. Yeah. That's really it. Because like when you go to a place that's haunted, it's never because the guy just died in his sleep, right? He was just like an old man, he died in his sleep. Or
it's usually something. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always like, oh, it was a little girl and she was murdered by, her father. And it's like, oh, what do we really like? We really like just murder. Yeah. We don't really like ghosts.
Dark stories.
Also, ghost dogs.
Why not?
Why don't I see a fucking ghost corgi?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Imagine being asleep in a hotel and a fucking ghost corgi like rolls into your bedroom and you're like, one, you're not scared. It's a corgi. Two, it proves there's no ghosts because only ghosts are humans. They're never like a tree. You know how many trees die every year? You don't see ghost trees. No. I'm sorry I ruined your business.
Yeah. But other people are into it. So it would be a legit website. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So Jason also asks, he says, fine, I'll ask a question. For a brand new site, would you say blog comments are still a simple way to prime the pump after Social Fortress, but before serious link building?
Whoa, wait, what's Social Fortress?
Social Fortress, I think.
That's a weird, hard name to say. Social Fortress.
Yeah. So you build your social profiles, and then sometimes people will build like other links to those social profiles, so that there is some other like multiple tier of link building to it. So basically, is blog commenting a legit way? I would say yes, for networking. What? For networking. Oh, for networking. Yeah, like who still has comments on their site? Do you still have comments? I turn them off most of the time.
See?
Yeah,
that's what, like. This seems like that seems like such a like 2008 thing to say.
How do you network then?
Email.
Okay.
Email. Just email people.
Okay.
So like I email people. I don't do link outreach, but like I do. Blog commenting. No, I would do.
And I would say yes. So
you would say yeah.
Do like if someone is actually blogging and they have comments open on their blog. Leave a comment. It's a great way. Right? No, you're not leaving a link. You're doing this to. I mean, you can build you can put your name and your domain name or whatever. But basically, you're like you can have an interaction, and someone's like, "Oh shit, you read my blog. That's cool."
Oh, I email them directly. Okay. Like I'll like I'll find their email address and I'll be like and if I'm a true fan, I will and this is like I've done this in the homebrewing space because I'm obviously this is another reason I think for like. How to find a niche. Everyone asks that question, and it's like, well, my niche is homebrewing, and I have a homebrewing site. I actually consume homebrewing material, and I do actually leave comments, like legitimately. But then I mostly just find out who the author is and email them directly and said, hey, I have this like question about this paragraph that you wrote, blah blah blah, and I kind of open the dialogue where they respond, and I'm not asking for anything, but maybe my subject line, or sorry, maybe my like signature has my domain in it. But then I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. And then I just like develop a rapport with that person. And then I come out with a video or a piece of content and I'm like, hey, by the way, I featured you or I mentioned you in this. Just wanted to give you a heads up. And most of the time they're like, they'll share it. And I never even asked them to do that. Yeah. Or they've linked to it or something, especially if it's really good. But yeah, I don't like, there's only one site that I know that has blog comments and it's the only time I've ever left a comment and it's in homebrewing. So I'm wondering if people still do that. Yeah, a lot. By default, usually those will be on, but it depends. Yeah, if you have a big site that actually gets a lot of traffic, you probably have comments off these days. Right. Just depending on how you run stuff. Some sites still have them on because it depends on the industry. Like I know, like Carl, Mr. 1500 Days. But his is like social based, right? He has them on, right? Yeah, he has them on, but and I think. Pete has his on too, right? Yeah. So some niches are going to have just a very active community that people actually comment and there's actually discussion. Right. Not in ours. And they've like, they've kind of like made that their thing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then Green Baby Deal says, any tips to find a freelance writer who's a true expert in your niche? I would say, you can go to Upwork and just specifically ask for an expert. I know there's like, is that like Pro Blogger Forum or something? Forum. Yeah. I was challenged on this back in 2015. I thought, because of being in the pool industry, I'm like, hey, I'm the only guy in the world who writes blog content about swimming pools and knows swimming pools. Same with home brewing. It's like I could find home brewers that write. But I was challenged by Steph, who is a freelance writer, and basically the skill set is like if you can write and research, you can write about anything. Like we've all written research papers in school and we weren't experts in those topics. We became experts for that moment, and we did the research and we cited other people, and we you know had to create citation pages and stuff. Like, so I was challenged that like I didn't need to find somebody who was a true expert. I just needed to find somebody who was a good writer researcher, and I did. Which was like through a friend, like a friend of a friend was just like, hey, my friend is a writer. He's looking to do some like freelance writing. And I go, cool. I literally sent him a topic, a very complex topic. I think it was about like chlorine demand or chlorine lock, like a very like technical topic. And that's all I gave him. And he came back with an article that I was like, that was incredible. Like, I really thought you needed to understand the ins and outs of that. It's like, no, you just need to be able to research. So I would say that like you're and what's great about that realization is all of a sudden your talent pool opens up. Because like you don't need to find somebody who's actually who's been in the pool industry for 15 years and can also write really well and is good at grammar. You need somebody who's good at writing and also good at researching, and they will be able to write you things that will shock you how good they are.
So before we read the next question, will you move those other two glasses over here, the clean ones for the Doppel? And then Abe Del Kabar says, thanks for sharing. I know my question isn't in the topic, but I want to know if it's true that a WordPress theme can perform good in SEO, or I guess better in SEO than other themes, and any theme suggestions.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, and Carbonate.
Yep. Yep, and you can get Carbonate at Money Lab Pro. You could also buy it separately. Yeah. I use it on a couple sites myself. And yeah, there's just some bad themes, and the one recommendation I would say, don't use Thrive themes. I just personally don't like it. A lot of people are going to recommend it, and those people are affiliates. Oh. They have very bad customer support with my experience, and I would highly encourage you not to work with Thrive.
Speaking of which, we have another ad to run, right?
I think
it's thrivethemes.com. No.
I was like, do we have another ad? We talked about Ezoic already. Talked about ODYS. That's good. I did
best customer support.
Best ever. Yeah, and I was an affiliate like back in the day, but through poor experiences. And I don't run ads. I have a couple affiliate deals. Just in general, but I usually talk shit about stuff. I like to have my own.
I do too.
My own opinions, and when so it's tough. I mean,
it's like having an asshole.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Okay, and then we have it's Rocco says, in just high level on this, he says, I have started my first niche website. Can you guys give me some tips? So first, Rocco, if you could be more specific, that'll be helpful. But if you have any just broad, hey, I started my own thing and I'm going to open this Doppelbock.
It takes you 4 years. You have to stick with it for 4 years. When you start a niche site, you're going to be tempted to start multiple niche sites because you're going to get this advice that's like, start a bunch of niche sites. One of them is going to take off, blah, blah, blah. If you're really confident and you're really like, there's an audience there for you, just give it time. Give it 4 years. You can work. It doesn't matter how hard you work on it or how infrequent you work on it. I feel like if you just understand that, like, in this world of building an online business, it's like attending high school or college. Like, you have to go through 4 years to earn that. In comedy, I know with stand up, it's like 10 years is sort of like what they say it takes for you to become a successful comedian. So in this case, I would say, good that you started a site, stick with it, make it the best site you possibly can. You may start other things, try to avoid shiny object syndrome if you can. I know it's hard, but 4 years, stick to it, and you'll get there. Enjoy the work too. You got to enjoy the work, right?
What if Rocco's like 4 years is so long?
Yeah,
why don't I do something else like drop shipping that's faster and easier?
I feel like you're gonna really struggle in life if you think everything is an overnight success. Everyone who's ever made anything of anything it's taken them time to work their craft. I know a lot of people, especially the younger generation, just wants to be immediately good at things. And there's like the TikTok generation, right? Where it's like, oh, I could start a TikTok that's completely bullshit and nonsense and get a ton of followers. Like, that's all vanity. That's like, that's not a real business. Like, that's just people following you. That's just like, that's a fleeting moment. That's a flash in the pan. Any business worth anything, it's taken more than 1 year to, like, you know, right? I'm not like crazy to say that, right? It's like, what do you think? Like, why do you think like you don't know any rich Herbalife people? Like, name one. Exactly.
I don't know what that is even.
You don't know what Herbalife is? Good for you.
So what I was going to say is, I think
is this the Doppelbock?
It is. Yeah. Hold on before you go on.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it just like jumps out of the glass,
yeah,
right?
It does.
Yeah. I haven't tasted it yet, but so what I was going to say is, yeah, what Matt said. Hopefully, you'll see traction before 4 years, but give things time. And one thing,
yeah, you'll see growth. It's just, but like, you're not going to be earning a living, like a full on like good living.
Have you heard of the 1,000-day rule, which is 3 years?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No,
so
yeah.
So
like 10,000 hours.
Yeah, sort of like that. But the 1,000-day rule, like Tropical MBA, check out that podcast. It's really good. And they talk about like, give it about 3 years and you should be able to replace your full-time, your previous income in general. You should be able to do it. Sure. It might be a little longer, it might be a little sooner, but generally.
Mine was 7. So I give 4 as like a,
Yeah.
But I the only reason I say that is because like I'm setting the expectation early, because I wish someone told me that. Like it's going to take you 4 years, and then I would have been like, cool. And then like, focus on, I think it's like focusing on making stuff that's really, really good, like good free information, and then making paid recommendations or paid products that you do yourself also very good. If you do that and you gain you have authority, you gain trust. Like no one can ever take that away from you. Like that's just like you're gonna own it forever. Like just be that person, and those are both good business models.
All right.
Generic.
Next question.
Did you already drink this, Matt?
I took a little sip. Oh yeah. Let's take a pause for a beer discussion here. And I see there's more questions. Thanks everybody for joining in, by the way.
Oh.
So this is a Doppelbock that is 11 years old, made it in January of 2010.
That is not as strong as I thought it was going to be. It's not a double Doppelbock. What is this?
It's like 10%.
Is it real? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It does not taste that way. And also, is there coffee in this?
No, I think we used midnight wheat.
Okay.
I think we used
coffee aftertaste.
There was more roast. There was a little more roast. And shockingly, it's pretty damn clean. I thought maybe
is very clean. A little oxidation, maybe.
I can definitely smell. It almost comes off like soy sauce or some kind of umami. You get a little of that.
Definitely,
it's the ox. Yeah,
but the aftertaste is
clean. It's real clean.
It's very clean. If this is 10%, I'm worried because this is like there's no heat.
It's so clean. Yeah. Well, 10 years of mellowing.
I'm just like.
Yeah,
it's just like lingering coffee,
and it's a nice dry finish. So Doppelbocks are great. So good. Okay, so I'll answer this question quick, and then we'll kind of move on. How long does it take normally for your website to rank in top page after publishing post? It just depends. That's a rough question.
It's also seasonal.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that it takes a year.
So it could be weeks. And it can be months or it could be years. There's a lot of factors involved. So I've had stuff rank on the first page in like a day. And sometimes it takes like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the best place to get expired domains? Well, I got to plug the sponsor, ODYS. There's a link in the description. You can join using my link. You get a $100 credit. All right, let's see what else we have here. What hosting? All right, this is the same person asking a lot of these questions. Okay, so which hosting is the best for hosting PBNs? Google Private Blog Network, and then you'll find it over on my blog.
Is that still there?
Niche Side Project. Yeah, people still do all the things that they say don't work. They still work.
Oh,
just people are
man.
doing it kind of quieter. So
Google's gonna catch up.
So, and then we have, holy shit, there's even more questions. Connected Watches Official has asked like 50 questions. All right. I want to know if I should get niche edits from vendors or should I scrape them myself? Just go to vendors. There's a link in the description. Because it's just easier. If you're going to pay for it, you may as well have them go through and do it. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to sort through here.
So tactical. Like, everything's like, this is shit that I learned in 2007.
Yeah.
I feel like why is it still around?
I think
some of it's still around.
And I was going to say Watches Official. I think you should change some of I think maybe some of the sources that you're getting your information from are pointing you in the wrong direction. Because the questions that you're asking are kind of leading you to a path that is not going to be successful.
What's a better spot for him to go or them to go? So.
I would say, you know what? Go to WP Eagle. Go to Alex's website. Alex's channel, and he has several different videos where he literally walks you through from like the very beginning. He shows you exactly how to set up your site and all those things. So very straightforward. He has hundreds of videos on all that stuff. All right. And then we have Mavid. I have a question. If the keyword I'm trying to rank for is fishing rod, will work like kayak fishing rod holder help me rank better for the fishing rod keyword? No, not generally. What is the top RMP you have? I don't know what that is. When making a PBN. Okay, I'm going to try and skip through here.
They're very specific questions. Very specific tactics that I'm not really familiar with.
I think one or two people, which everyone, thank you for asking questions. Please keep asking them because we have more beer to finish. We could also just talk too, but questions are good.
No, questions are good. Let's go. Let's knock them out.
It seems like a couple of the people are just trying to get specific help and like personal coaching for the thing they're trying to do. And this isn't a good format for it because we can't actually show you anything or do anything specific. And the fact is I have blog posts covering like 80% of what a few of those questions were. So that's why I blasted through. Just go to Niche Site Project or just Google the exact question that you asked here.
No, I would disagree.
Just Google shit.
No,
it works.
Go to your site.
Yeah.
No, because here's the thing. This happens in the pool industry as well. When you are trying to fix a problem, you're trying to solve a problem, you're trying to get your pool clear. If you keep hopping around to different websites and different like stores, everyone's got a different path to the same result. And so you're going to end up like doing 10 different things, and it's going to just slow you down to the final result. Where if you just follow one person's or one philosophy, and you will get there, and you will get there much faster because you're not trying 10 different things. You're trying one fucking path.
Yeah.
Like that is, I think,
great point.
Yeah. Just, you know what it is? It's like you can buy all the goddamn online courses you want. Buy one online course from somebody that you absolutely trust. Do your research. And when you find that person that you're like, I resonate with this person feels not like a scammer. They don't feel like a piece of shit. Then like buy their thing and just do it verbatim. Like just don't waver. Just like follow their rules, follow their guidelines. And then once you get like to a spot, then you can start to pave your own path.
I find that people often will mix and match the wrong stuff. And I used to give exactly that advice. Thank you for mentioning it. Okay. So we have shout out to Bob in the chat for helping out so much. And he mentions that Carbonate is great and I use it on 3 sites. So thanks, Bob, for the shout out there and your help in the chat.
One price, too.
I see all the work you're doing down there. All right. Merrick says, any advice what to do if I find a good keyword that's not related to the niche of my website?
Don't do anything.
Yeah,
like,
just move
I can
on.
Find good keywords too.
Yeah,
like I found a keyword to glass ottomans. People searching for glass ottomans. I'm not making a site around glass ottomans.
Yeah. So just move on. I mean, there's a lot of keywords that aren't relevant. So find the good ones. And
if you
Merrick
find
says
100,
Yeah.
in the same niche.
He says it kind of bothers me
Maybe
to not take action on a good keyword when it's not related to my niche. Okay, here's the thing. So once you start finding a little success, opportunities are going to be jumping out all over the place.
That's a whole game.
And then you just have to learn how to say no, even though you know it's actually a pretty good opportunity. And you have to find the ones that are really fucking good.
Dude, I know people who are opportunity whores.
Yeah, and they're stressed out.
They're stressed out. They're doing too many things.
And when you let go, it's so like
it's
you
literally
can
shiny
sleep in.
object syndrome,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah,
it's that. It's yeah. If I found like I mean, like as I do keyword research, I'm doing keyword research on pools. You know, it's like I find like, you know, like classic billiard table has like a lot of traffic and no, you know, the keyword difficulty is super low. I don't own a site about billiards. I'm not going to start a site about billiards. But if I wanted to, I could develop 100 keywords around billiards and then go, okay, I have 100 keywords. It's 100 posts. That's a niche site. If you want to start that site, go for it. I think that's the way to go. But I always, 100 is my litmus test. Is like, if there's 100 keywords that are all like bangers, really, then yeah, start a site around it. Sure.
And then, I mean, you also end up in another spot where you're like, oh, I don't want to start any new sites or like there's all those sort of things. And
the constant starting from scratch can be like demoralizing too.
And I've interviewed a couple great guests, actually 2 of them yesterday. One is Stacy Caprio and the other is Chelsea Clark. So those are going to be coming out soon. But they've started a couple sites, but they primarily buy sites and then they will grow them. And
I would love to do that.
Yeah, and it's like you know it's successful, and then you know like
it's already got a niche, and
you already know like you know how to grow a site from like whatever $5,000 a month up.
That's
or something
best,
like
that. That's where shit gets fun.
Right.
Like, that's where it gets really fun.
And have you thought about buying other pool sites
constantly
and to like just integrate it into yours?
No. I know I have. I almost did that.
Yeah,
I almost did that. But I was like, well, why can't I? I know what their site is. Why can't I just like start writing the same content?
Yeah.
But I am always in the market to buy a site that is doing relatively well. I don't have a ton of money to spend on it, but I would love to buy a site and like do a makeover and do that for Money Lab. Like buy a site that's maybe like 10, 20 grand, and then sort of like just kind of document the entire process of like, here's the site, maybe not give the site, like I would give the site out, but I don't want the false metrics. That's the whole problem of it for me is like, I could say, hey, I bought this site. It's in this industry. Maybe not give the exact domain because I don't want people on Money Lab to be like going and checking it out. And I'm like, hey, we're growing.
Yeah, right.
But those people wouldn't buy, so I would know like it'd be okay. So like, yeah, I would love to do an experiment on Money Lab where I take a site and that I would pay for, that's already established, that's already has a revenue stream or two that's like associated with it, and just scale it up as fast as humanly possible. I think that'd be fun to do. Just knowing what I know.
Yeah.
Like throw carbon on there, like do all the basically take my entire philosophy in Money Lab Pro and just like supercharge it. That'd be fun.
One of my friends who I interviewed, Adam Smith, and the interview just came out this week. He made $18,000 profit. He bought the site for like, shit, I can't remember. He sold it for 50 something.
Okay.
He had it for 38 days. He did
How much did you buy it for?
Like 27 or something like that.
27,000?
Yeah.
Oh, so he doubled his money in 38 days.
More or less. I'm trying to think how. Hold on, 37. I'm like trying to do the math backwards. 37. Yeah. So he bought it for 37, made some on-site tweaks, and then sold it 38 days later, made $18,000. Pretty crazy. So
that's a lot of money very quickly. But that's the thing. Like, you'll tell a story like that, and people all they see is $18,000 right now. Like they see that money drop. You know what I mean? Man,
I'm trying to get views, man. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. And it's just like, I go, this is the whole thing about ad selling when you're not ad networks, but like when I do like selling ads, kind of direct. it's kind of like you're, and this is like even sponsorships on YouTube channels and stuff. Like you're on this hamster wheel where, you know, if you wanted to make your living doing that, it's like you have to constantly earn 18,000 every single time, right? And you have to keep up with that. There's no moment where you get to just fuck off and $18,000 is made like while you sleep. Where, you know, this happens with like real estate too. Like I think about not real estate, like investing in real estate, but being a real estate agent. It's like you're or being a salesperson in any kind of, you know, capacity where it's like the minute you stop selling is the minute you stop making money, right? And I've always kind of felt like I've seen people do that, and I see them make a lot of money. Like real estate agents can make a lot of money, and I realized kind of like a little too late, but like I realized that like there's this way to make money sleeping. And that is like, it's an investment. It's an asset, you know, having an asset that like pays you while you do nothing. And it's not passive income by any means, but like, that's the ultimate goal for me. So like, I hate doing work for dollars. I like doing work that results in consistent dollars for the next like 10 years, you know, at least in the minimum. That to me is like way more interesting place to be.
And I want to,
not that I've only been that way for like, you know, 7 years now.
Which way?
The way that I want it to be.
Okay.
I used to do a website. Like when I first like got into this world, I was working on Swim University at the same time I was designing people's websites, you know, for money. So I was like doing client work essentially.
Right.
And that was how I was paying the bills.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then, yeah, and then it's like, and then eventually they started to like, you know, the Swim University started to grow because I was investing time and energy into it, but I wasn't making immediate money in that moment. I had to pay the bills. And then eventually like it started to make more and more money. And then I could literally stop doing client work. And then it was like, okay, now I can focus on this thing. And then just like put all my time and effort into it. And it just was like, phew.
Got it.
And then now I can fuck off.
Yeah.
And come and drink with you. And
yeah,
you know,
it's a good spot.
Yeah. It's hard.
So all right, I'm going to pull together a couple threads. It is 10%. I'm telling you, man, it's really 10% alcohol. So it'll be a slow meltdown, but there will be a meltdown.
Let's do it.
So you mentioned on your blog, Money Lab, about retiring, right? That's something it's public out there. You want to retire in a few years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, retirement means big, different thing, right?
Big fat air quotes.
It'll just, you will probably work on exactly what you want to work on and cut out some things you don't like. That's what I imagine. So one thing that you mentioned is you would not sell Swim University. So for me, I know that a lot of us base financial independence on the 4% rule, and essentially like having assets. Typically it's like index funds, and I don't know what your investments are, but one can assume that you follow along with that. It's a math problem. It's a simple math problem. And
very simple.
I'm thinking, hey, if your goal is to retire, then why not sell the website? Especially if you could, let's say you can increase the earnings by 40%. And then instead of selling it for $1.5 million, you could sell it for like $2.5 million. Surely that gets you a little bit closer to your goal, and then maybe cuts out, I don't know, 2.5 years of what you're trying to save for. So I'm like, what is your real goal? Because you could still work on Brew Cabin, for example, and still have your creative outlet and do some of the same work. But then here's the thing, Matt. It's a huge liability, a big risk. So you have an asset worth whatever, $1.5 million or something, right? Things can go wrong. So like, how do you sleep at night? No, but you see the full picture here, and it's not just
having that like. So I know that every single person who has sold their website has immediately either bought it back or gotten right back into what they did before.
Oh, like, I haven't. I've sold stuff and I
go right
happy
back
as a
it.
clam.
Well, no. There's people that like I won't mention names.
Yeah.
But like have sold their websites and have like literally bought their websites back because they've lost a reason to live. I'd imagine.
Oh,
like a purpose. Right?
Well, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a purpose, right? And then there's the fundamentally, like if I were to sell some university, so what is it? How does it work? What's the multiplier? Is it 36 months? 36-month multiplier, right? So like 1 month of earning times 36 months, right? That's what you would sell a site for.
Yeah,
roughly.
But yours would probably be, I would say, is probably like 45 because you have a long history.
Yeah.
Your digital assets, which is huge, and here's the thing: you probably could sell it even without putting ads, because someone would say like, "Oh, I could put ads on there."
Well, somebody did. Like I know, I sold Roasty for 50 grand, and the person who bought that site like supercharged it, threw a bunch of ads on it, and it like crushed. I mean, like way more money than I make currently, right? He was willing to put that work in and do that work where I wasn't, he was willing to hire and the site now, you should check out roastycoffee.com. It looks fantastic. And I just emailed him the other day because I was doing like a website review for somebody in Money Lab Pro, and I was like, Roasty, let me show you what the logo looks like. And I typed it in and I was like, whoa, this looks so much better. Like it was so like better than what I had it too. And he was like, yeah, I hired this company to come and do it. But he still owns it because, it's just, it makes money and it requires like very little effort. And for me, I think it's like, if it is that multiplier, like, I may make a couple of $1 million, and I could throw that into, some retirement funds and literally live off that for the rest of my life. Right. Mm-hmm. But I would argue the same thing about like, how much do you trust the stock market in certain times? Like, like there's like, we're in a a prosperous stock market, a bull market, right. And like the FIRE movement didn't exist before 2008 and in 2008 and in 2009. And then it just like started in like 2012, I think is when it really like kicked up. Once the market started to come back,
it really kicked up. I didn't get into it until, super recent. Yeah. But I was going to say, I think if you look back, there were people doing it.
There were,
but there were
Pete and everybody. Yeah,
there were. It was very quiet, and even back in the like early '90s, like I think there was I can't remember the book.
Oh, for sure. Your Money, Your Life.
But that's the one. But I guess overall, I'm like, hey, why not remove the risk? I think the thing is you have brew cabins, so you could spend time on that.
Yeah. So, for me, removing the risk is basically like either putting it on an autopilot or hiring somebody to basically make it so that it feels like it's on autopilot to me. And like that site, if I keep it the way it is, I know that site is worth more in the long term than it is in the short term. But
what if Google slaps it down?
I have a email list that I could sell to forever. Like it's not like, there's always a business, and and the thing is like I kind of like it, so it's not like it doesn't like Swim University of all businesses, of all of them, has never stressed me out. Like obviously Roasty did, which is why I sold it.
Right. Yeah.
And Brew Cabin like could be a site that like I could see myself selling because it's like not that big. It is a passion project, but I can see myself kind of getting like into the kind of getting jaded by it a little bit. Swim University, I'm never jaded by. And that's the only reason I'm successful is because for some reason, that website has always just kind of been my thing, and I feel like I own it. It feels very personal. And Money Lab is the other one. I feel like I'm very much tied to Money Lab, and I love writing on it, and I love being there. Like I like doing it. And so like as much as I could retire, and when I say retire, it's like, what am I gonna do? I like on a Sunday, if I'm hungover, like I'm bored. You know what I mean? It's like I need something to do at all times, and like I don't really care about house stuff like all that much. Yeah. I like my hops, and I can brew. Like sometimes I'll just go out in the brewery and clean because because I'm bored. Because it's like, I can't brew a beer today. It's like both my fermenters are filled up. Like, what am I gonna do? So like, I'll go downstairs and like, you know, it's kind of a pastime. Weirdly, you know. So it's like if it pays what it pays, you know, and even if it like dips one year, I'll be all right with it. Like, you know, yeah. I mean, that's like the one site I don't like. Obviously, I'm not against selling sites, but that one site, I feel like, yeah, it's kind of how I'm gonna. It's gonna be my retirement plan, and then it's also gonna be like how my family's retirement plan. Like, hopefully, they'll like carry on the legacy. I don't know who that is. Maybe my brother or somebody. I don't know, but like, hey, you want this?
Yeah, well,
keep it in the family kind of thing.
And it's an interesting contrast because at first I was like, I'm not going to sell anything, and then I sold stuff. And at this point, I would also even sell Niche Site Project, which it's tied to me just like Money Lab, and I'm open to. Because I know I can start another thing, and I don't care about it that much.
Okay, so I think we're all right. Like as you were saying that, I was kind of thinking. I think the swimming pool industry is so ingrained in who I am as a person. I am not I wouldn't. No one looks at me and goes like, "You swim, right? You take care. You like chlorine, right? You huff that shit." No, it's like it's just me. It's just like inherently me. I don't have like tattoos. I don't have like, there's not a lot of things that I like outwardly put out in the world. That's like, oh, Matt is this. Yeah. You know, like home
but the
brewing,
pool thing. Yeah.
Beer and pools. It's kind of my thing, right?
I was going to say beer too? More. Yeah. Beer more. And then speaking of tattoos, I have been thinking about getting more. Yeah. And I don't know what.
3?
I have 3. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, apparently you saw me with my shirt off. Yeah, but I was gonna say I like the look of a sleeve. Yeah. But I don't know what I would get.
See, that's the thing for me is like nothing is that important. Yeah. You know, to me in life, like not that my family or anybody is not important, but it's like I've seen bad. I like Arrested Development. I like beer. Yeah. You know, it's like I know people are like, oh, I'll get like
little banana.
Yeah, I'll get like a banana stand. Yeah, get a little banana stand, get a beer, you know, like I can put those things on my body. Integrate. Also, like I could put those on my shelf. Yeah. You can come over to my house and go like, oh, you must like Arrested Development. I'm like, oh yeah, can you tell? Not that I have to like show, like not that I have to wear it. And plus like, I want to be buried in a Jewish cemetery, so I can't. Okay. I'm not Jewish, but
I was going to ask you. Okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah. We all have priorities, I guess. And I don't know what I would get, but when I get bored, think about tattoos every now and then.
When you get bored, do you want to give yourself one?
I have.
Like prison style?
They have them on Amazon, by the way. You can get like home kits and.
Sounds safe.
I don't know. Yeah. We have the right kind of setup down here. Behind the curtain.
You have enough like Star Sand to like sanitize everything.
It would be super
clean. You have to sterilize
clean.
it, right? You'd have to like, you know, burn it.
It's clean enough. We have gloves or like dishwashing gloves. Yeah, or whatever.
I'm not a tattoo person. No. I honestly.
Do you like them on other people?
I don't mind them on other people. Yeah. But yeah, I never like. It's been a very personal thing. Like one. Kind of just dislike needles, so if I can avoid needles in general, like
it hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I got the vaccine and that like I thought I was more nervous about it hurting than anything else, and then they poked
so fast,
me. It was like 2 seconds. I was like, "Did you do it?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, well, my arm's so fat." They're probably just like, "Yeah," like dude, we went right through your bone. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even notice."
It's in there.
But yeah, like I if I could not do that all the time, that sounds good. You know, like, and then, you know, so that, and again, nothing is that important. Like, no symbols are that important. Cause I've thought about it for sure. Yeah. Like what is the, you know, for a long
hop
time.
Cone. The hop cones are pretty cool.
You know, there's some cool ones. You know what mine was? And this is a stupid, sad story. I was going to get the symbol for pi.
Oh, nice.
On a windowsill, cooling. No, like 3.14.
So it's deep.
The only reason though, not that I'm like a math person, I'm not. Not that I even know the next number after 4. I don't. Yeah, I have no idea.
159. Yeah.
159 is the next 3?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't even know that. I would have had a bullshit tattoo. I like the movie Pie.
Oh, you know what? I'm trying to remember if I even saw
Darren
that.
Aronofsky. Yeah, like I loved when that movie came out. It was important to me, and I was like, "This is such a cool movie." And I named like a song after the tagline of that. When I was in a band, I named a song after the tagline of that movie, and I was just like, kind of just really into that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, it'd be cool to have the symbol because the pie symbol's kind of cool. It looks like
It is
cryptic
cool.
or whatever." And I was like, "But why?" Like I'm not even not that into it. You know, it's like beer, hop cone. Yes, but I've never been to a hop farm.
No,
No,
not around.
I've only dealt
There's
with
some
pellets.
local around here, right?
Yeah, there's one right down the street. I don't know where. I can't find it.
No.
It's not on Yelp or whatever or Google Maps. But
Have you ever drove out in like the Yakima area?
No.
We were doing a road trip back from Alaska. I don't know if we talked about road tripping and whatever, but yeah, driving back and we're coming through Oregon and Washington, and there are hop fields just
As far
like
as
you
the eye
see.
can see.
Yeah, for forever, and they have the.
I really want to go to Hop Festival in September. That'd be fucking dope. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was like the height of the summer, so they're growing way up, and you can see.
You can smell them probably.
Yeah.
A mile away, yeah.
It was amazing.
I do love beer. Beer is probably the one passion that I would tattoo myself for.
Yeah.
What if you got an entire sleeve of a stout? It's just like it's just all black and then like a little head.
Didn't it's like the basis for Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah,
Doesn't he have a?
He just literally like painted his arms black.
Yeah.
With tattoos.
Then you could always wear a short sleeve shirt.
That's got to be really painful to literally cover every ounce of your skin with ink.
And
woof.
But there's just some beautiful art, and I even like went around town and like chatted with a couple of the artists, but I never set up an appointment, and it would be like a collaborative thing, and it would be
that's
multiple.
The coolest thing is like if you design your own shit. That would be awesome. Yeah, like that makes the most sense to me. Like, why wouldn't you do that? But not everyone's an artist, and they just want they just want a dolphin on their ankle. You know, it's like okay,
number 42 or whatever. Yeah. Well, and I would probably get it on this, and this is like a Celtic design that I just liked, and I would want it.
But you're half Celtic, right?
No,
not even at all.
No,
Cunnington there's no Celticness at all in that.
I should say that now. I think it's just like English, British.
English?
Yeah, I don't know. And then I'm half Filipino too.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm like I think I'm English, Irish, and Italian, but like obviously Italian.
Little Italian.
Little Italian, right? Half Italian, and then the other half is English and Irish, I believe.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I won't say my mother's maiden name, just because like then you'll find out all my passwords.
Oh man! So what do you think of this 11-year-old?
I actually really like it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I in my head I kind of thought like it would be alcoholic, although that doesn't make sense. Like age would kind of like soften it a bit, right? Do you think it's past its prime? Do you think like in the aging, because like double box not normally aged, right? It's like not like a beer you would age.
Yeah, typically you don't see them super old. You don't see like vintages.
Because it's just a lager. It's like a clean lager in general. So like, you know,
dark beers can hold up to the
aging,
can hold up,
sure.
So, and I just kept hanging on to it, and then and I can't remember if I just grabbed it really quick before you got here. I can't remember if that's like the last bottle or whatever. But
could be.
I think it was like a 5-gallon batch. We entered it into a couple competitions, and it was fine. It is probably a little past its prime because I know as I moved across the country and traveled and all that,
and kind of
there was a stretch where I probably lived in a very warm area.
Atlanta, probably.
Yeah, and then
probably sat in the car for like a minute.
And I got shaken up in the back of a U-Haul and all that stuff.
But honestly, like for a 10-year-old, 11-year-old beer, I don't really get. I mean, like you get the soy, right? But that's
just oxidation of dark malt.
Sure, which I don't dislike personally.
Yeah.
You
smell the barley wines,
and then the coffee, and then it's not alcoholic. Like you kind of thought, again, like it would. Not that it would get more alcoholic in the bottle, but I don't know. I thought it'd be
hot.
Yeah, a little hot.
Fusel, something like that.
Yeah, and it's still like, I mean, there was really no head retention, but I don't think that's a. I think that might have just been, that could have been age, right? It could have degassed a little bit because I think with caps they kind of degas a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think I can't remember because it was so long ago. So this is one of the oxygen seal caps or whatever.
Yeah.
However, I think we let it lager for a few months, and then we added yeast when we bottle conditioned it.
Okay.
Because
you added yeast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we added like a little
bit.
bit.
So long.
Yeah. So we added priming sugar, which we may have undershot the priming sugar.
So it could have been undercarb to begin with.
Yep. So I'm not sure because I definitely have had old beers like holder carbonation and all that stuff too. So yeah, maybe, but it was clean. Like that's the big thing. It's like you got a clean beer after 11 years. Like there was no like contamination and all that.
That's ridiculous that you have that.
Yeah.
That you've kept that for that long and moved to 2 different states.
Yeah.
In the process.
It's nuts. And I have back there, I think a couple things from 2007 when I first started fermenting anything.
Jesus.
So I've just hung on to them, It's crazy.
I don't have anything from like the last 5 years.
Really? You just drink it all?
No, in general.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing of value. I think that's the other reason why tattoos aren't appealing to me is like, there's nothing to me that is sentimental at all. I get the guitars, honestly, the guitars, but because they're a utility, not because like the guitar means anything to me, but because it's like, oh, I want to still play when I move out there, or like, but like, I sold all my home brewing equipment and like, I don't have trinkets.
Yeah.
Like around the house, it's like, oh yeah, this was my grandmother's, this was my brother's, or this was like my, like stepfather's. I don't have a stepfather, but I don't know why I said that. But like, like I don't have these like things from people or from like events or anything. Yeah. I'm like not
I tend to collect things a little bit. I've tried to do better and just get rid of stuff. But like when I moved,
what do you collect?
Usually just junk, I think. I'm trying to think.
Paper clips.
Yeah, paper clips. I'm like looking around at like the clutter.
Like Peter Herman's house. Just like
random stuff. Well, like my mom used to not like hoard things, but she would like accumulate things and be like,
did she have tchotchkes? Like that
sort of like little trinket, the little stuff like that. So I try to do better.
But those are okay. Like you can keep those. Some.
But
depends on what they mean to you. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I got really present, and I kind of feel like it's a detriment in some areas in life, because like I'll forget things. Like, oh, you told me something yesterday. Like, no, I'm thinking about like right now, right this minute. Like, it's like an anxiety sort of like defense mechanism, right against anxiety, and so therefore it's like I can't have anything in my life from anyone to remind me of anybody. It's like I just don't want it because like
so
tomorrow,
present.
Tomorrow is tomorrow. Today is today.
Man,
it's fucked. Is there any? How long of a tangent do we just go on?
I'm not sure.
All right,
not sure. Okay, so Mason says, "Oh, hey, I know these guys."
Oh, yeah.
Mason, yeah, what's
Mason?
up? And we saw a couple more questions. D and some other folks, some suggestions on tattoo, a Hitman tattoo, barcode on the neck. And
that's so baller. What is it? What happens when you scan it? Like, what do you get?
I'd want to make sure it's like a thing that I buy all the time, and I'm like, just scan my neck.
You have to like get it registered from like the UPC. You have to register the UPC code somewhere so it always scans.
Oh man,
that would be a fun bit to be like every store you go to, like scan my neck, and then you're that guy who yells scan my neck every time you go to a store.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Should we open one more or?
I don't know.
Play it cool. Do we have any more questions? Our crowd is dwindling.
Some questions and then we drink off air. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. All right. Well, it looks like the questions are dwindling down. If people want to find you, Matt, where do they go?
Moneylab.co.
Moneylab.co.
That's where you go.
All right. And then you're on Twitter a little bit too, right?
I am. That's like my my one social media account where I am there all the time at Matt Giovanisci. Good luck trying to spell it, but you can go to moneylab.co and learn how to spell it. Just copy and paste my name on the homepage and then go on Twitter. That's where I am. That's my social media of choice.
Okay.
Kind of the only one I'm on. Besides, I do a little bit of Instagram for Brew Cabin, but just a little bit.
A little bit. And then I'm not sure if it's okay if I mention this, but I know you were just starting your OnlyFans stuff. So do you want people to go there too?
It's still early days for the OnlyFans. But yeah, I think I have 3 or 4 nudes up. So if you want to go check it out, I'd appreciate it. It's like $50 a month, I think, for my OnlyFans.
Okay. But there's a ton of interaction. So that's where you really...
Yeah, I send a lot of pics. Yep.
All right. That was just a joke.
That was a gag.
So far. I think it is. I guess we'll find out later.
Trust me, no one wants to see me naked.
All right. Well,
not even me.
And you can subscribe to the channel if you like these sort of things. But we had a great time, and we're gonna have this Belgian Dark Strong, and we'll catch you next week.
Goodbye.
The mouse is over here. I guess I could have stopped it from here.
This is what happens when you drink too many 11-year-old beers.